click for it to go live, and then it says live. Have you been live for 30 seconds? It's like, I've only just pressed the button.
Yeah. I never know when it's live or not.
Hopefully we'll get some comments to tell us that we are alive and you can hear us and see us.
It's looking very quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it. No one there. Right, I'm going back to bed.
Hi, everybody.
Hopefully, we've got the adverts. I've got to get. That's it.
Oh, blimey, that helps, doesn't it? When you click on comments.
Yeah. Are you on a computer or are you on like a thing? Because normally, if you're on a computer, the comments come up on the side.
Yeah, no, it's on my laptop.
I run the comments on my phone because they come up a bit quicker. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We've got Dave back, and it's been a while because Dave's a very busy man. And he's been doing loads of overtime to buy, more spiders.
Yeah.
If you've got questions for Dave, just put them into the comments. If we miss them, just keep putting them in the comments because when Dave's on, the comments normally fly, and I'll try and spot them as best as I can. But hello to everybody. Wolf Goddess, new channel member. Thank you so much. Noah says, hey, Scott, I can be here for only a few minutes before I leave to work. Hey, Noah.
Hey, Noah. How are we doing, buddy?
He's got to be your number one supporter.
Don't tell him that. He gets a big head.
He is somewhere else when it comes to support. Oh my God, Chris is on wheels. He just put £2 on the chat. He knows that if he pays, I'll mention it. He says fake beard Smurf. He says that because I don't know. Do you know Steve's doing the autism raffle, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of said to him, well, if you get to £1,500, I will dye my hair blue for autism. Now I'm regretting it. I'm like,
close, is it?
But yeah, the enemy is literally just taking the mickey all the time. I've kind of pre-warned work, and they've just literally just gone, wait till you come into work with blue hair.
Well, if it gains a few quid, that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's it, and brings more awareness to autism, then that's even better. But why not?
Yeah,
you could do the same, Dave. You could grow like these bits and have the blue ring that way.
I'd wear mine blue, but you wouldn't see it. This is the only problem.
Hey, Scott, Ellie, and David Attenborough. Dave says Aaron Moon. Yeah, that's pretty much how you're getting referred to now. Is like Dave's at Attenborough or Uncle Dave. Yeah. I think it's all done with the utmost respect.
Isn't it?
It's. I mean, the amount of changes that I've seen in the hobby that are down to you, Dave. Literally, like everybody's now using moss, and you've changed the fossorial scene. You've gone from everybody having these, like literally dustbin bins full of soil, to having a lot less and being able to see our spiders a lot more. Do the beard for $2,500, says Chris. No, the beard is not getting touched, mate. Do you kind of acknowledge that those accolades of like the support that you've put out there for the community and how much it's changed due to your channel? It's been strange because I've been doing this for a long time, and it's just like normal to me. And I think in the past, even over the years, like for the past, I don't know, 30 odd years where I've been into reptiles and stuff, and it was always the same with that. People were very stuck in their ways of what they wanted to do, and I always went my own way, done my own thing, and I had successes. I've had failures as well, obviously. So you live and learn, and you change things as you go. But I think what's made the difference is the internet Whereas all them years in the past, you never got to speak or show anybody. So they just followed the, whatever was the trend at the time. And yeah, and I mean, that's always been the thing. Even now, recently with the spider world, people are still saying, should I wash me moss? Should I nuke me branches? I've had me log in the bleeding oven for the last 3 days. Is it ready to come out yet? And you're like, really, guys? You really don't need to do it. So I suppose, in a way, YouTube has given it that platform to be able to share them things and hopefully dispel a few myths, because that's what a lot of it is. And I think, with keeping in general, no matter what you're looking after, it doesn't matter what it is, but there is a side to it which sticks. So, like, the mesh tops on videos have been a big issue for many, many years. And I am certain and absolutely sure that the vast majority of that is just people regurgitating what they've read. They've never had the experience themselves, but they regurgitate the fact that, oh no, you should never have mesh on your top, because your spider gets caught in them. Well, I've been doing that for 40 years and I ain't had no problems.
Talking about the Exoterra mesh.
Yeah. Any of them, any of them with a mesh top.
My Hazel, she loves to climb on it though. She's arboreal, and it's like, yeah, look at me, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think this is another thing as well. Is people need to recognise what a spider looks like when it's actually caught, and what a spider looks like when it's walking along it.
Yeah.
Well, the difference, But if someone sees them trying to unhook their foot, they think, oh, it's caught, but it ain't. It's moved on in a couple of minutes. It's doing something else. So it's like it's not actually caught. And I think it's interpretation and misinformation is the biggest downside to the hobby.
But I think another side is observation. Like, people get these things and they don't necessarily observe the behavior of this spider to know when they're changing.
Yeah.
I think misinformation can usually make a good thumbnail or YouTube title.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue. But I mean, before you, Dave, I was like, use stuff out of the woods? No way. Wash moss? No, I'm not using moss out of the woods. And then when you first come out and you were suggesting this, and I was still like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, what's he talking about?
Any chance am I doing that? And then seeing the substrate for the fossorials kind of go to this. And I might have mentioned it before, but when you had the Kraken male got eaten.
Yes.
I've got to apologise because I was in a conversation. We were like, yeah, but that's because he only keeps it in this much substrate. If he'd had this much substrate, she would have been happy. She would have been this, that. But, but you've changed my mind from like, that was like, what was that, 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
2 years, yeah, I suppose 2 years.
And I was so wrong. I was so wrong.
I think it's...
And now it's just like, if it lives in the woods, it can almost go into any of the enclosures when you're looking at kind of moss, leaf litter. When you were talking about the Dave's Little Beasties mix, which is basically soil from out the wood that's already got the UK springtails in it, that blew my mind because I was like, hold on a minute, there's springtails that live in our soil. You buy them in a packet. They come from abroad.
Yeah,
but it works. It all works. And at the end of the day, like you said, a spider's a spider, and as long as you provide it with everything it needs, it's the rest of it is purely just for our enjoyment.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's there's so much common sense that can be used, which isn't, and I think that's a big thing, and it's also as well. I think it's like anything, isn't it? When you're learning something from like a new person's perspective, it is very daunting. I mean, you look at anything. I mean, if you went on the internet and typed in, how do I set up a tropical fish tank? You come away scratching your head thinking, bloody hell, I don't know if I can do that. It's so simple. Fill it with water, put a heater in there. Hey presto, we're all right. It's not difficult, but the information has a way of frightening you before you've even started. And this is one of the things that we try to show on the channel, is that it's, it really isn't rocket science. It's very, very simple, and you just need to apply yourself in a different way, and you'll be there. It's not it's the same thing with like what makes a beginner spider. I never look at it like that. I don't think the spider is the issue. You're the issue. So let's have a look at how you behave, and then we can work out what will best fit you.
Mark the Spider Guy, thank you for being a channel member for 15 months. That's just popped up. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I'm going to say there is beginner spiders, purely because if you've only just venturing into it, you haven't got enough research, you haven't got enough experience to be going, oh well, let's get a HMAC or a or a pokey maybe or something like that. But if you go for something bulletproof like a GBB or a curly hair, then that's going to allow for those beginner mistakes. But again, if you've done your research, then any of them could possibly be a beginner spider or a first time spider.
But what I'm getting at is the even the beginner spiders. Because most people class most New Worlds as beginner spiders. So it's even when you look at your beginner spiders, there's certain ones of those that if you're particularly jumpy, they're going to be a bit of a nuisance to you. So it's more about how you are to fit what spider you eventually go for, and work it like that. And then that way you can miss out. Because if you're a super confident person, you don't want something that barely moves and just sits there. You want something that's going to give you. So something like a geniculata will give you that little bit of edge, but it's still friendly, still, easy enough to look after. I mean, they're dead simple to look after. So they are bulletproof in that respect, but they will give you that little bit of an edge. But if you're a little bit on the side where, do you know what I mean? I'm going to have to open the door to feed it. There may be a curly hair or something like that's going to be better suited rather than a geniculata that's like, come on, feed me. There's two different sides to even the calm stuff. There's different levels to the calm stuff. So I always think better to work out what the person's like, and then, from that we can then choose something that's going to be appropriate to you.
So, hey, Leah, unusual pet.
Ramastola, brachypelma, curly hairs. However, for me, I found Ramastolas were, in my opinion, all the ones I had were probably not the friendliest. However, for me, the LPs, the scarlet bird eater, and the panther beaters and the Phomictopus were the best ever, as well as pokies and Samopera.
Yeah.
They were my calmers. Where Grammastolas and Brachypelmas seem to be the most feisty in my collection.
Yeah.
Nando's are surprisingly feisty.
Mine were fine.
They took me by surprise when I first got them. Chris is on wheels. Has messaged me a couple of the questions that have come through chat. This is more of a statement to you, Dave, I think, than an actual question. But Craig says, Craig Hines says, anybody that asks me anything on Facebook, I always point them to Dave's videos.
Thank you.
Made to stick MK decal tarantulas. Mate says, how many tarantulas have you got now, Dave? Made to stick does all the stickers and stuff like that, Dave. Over on Instagram.
Oh, I see. Do you know what? The honest answer is I couldn't tell you. I honestly don't know how many I've got.
Would you know how many adults you've got?
No, I don't. That's terrible, isn't it? That is terrible. Jesus, I couldn't even hazard a guess.
Is Camera Lady in the same room as you now, Dave?
No.
Is that why you're not saying?
No. I'm in the spider room and she's in the living room. Yeah.
I bet she knows how many you've got.
She can probably hear me anyway. Yeah, I have to be careful what I say. Yeah. If you see a hand come out of nowhere and slap me around the back of my head, you know she's heard me.
Vivian, which Dave, I'm very curious if your GBB is doing good in a new environment I still keep mine on cocoa fibre as the dryness is recommended for this species, but I would love to know if your method works better.
Yeah, right. This is another one that's a bit of a stickler, isn't it? You know, what's dry and what's dry. So I found it's an interesting one actually. You mentioning about the GBB, because I mentioned in one of my videos a little while back that I thought she was broken because she's been in there some months now and not done any webbing at all. But this last couple of weeks, she has webbed everything up, and she's recently molted, and she started webbing everything up again. Now I do soak down a corner every now and again, and also every now and again I spray the whole enclosure. But only, this is where it gets difficult. When I say I spray the whole of the enclosure, it is literally just a burst. So it's not spraying it to make it. How can I explain this?
Is it like a light mist that's it?
Sort of, yeah. I literally just spray it till I get a couple of droplets on the plant that's in there, because I put a fake plant in that particular one because she just demolishes everything. So I just get a couple of droplets on there, and I found she will often go up and drink from those. And then what I do is I spray the corner quite heavily, which bumps my humidity up a little bit. So, but then my actual room is quite humid anyway. I don't know what I'm sitting at. I'm sitting at 64% in here at the minute, and that's 64% humidity. And all of my enclosures have got mesh tops, so she's in 64% humidity.
Lou Pang just put £2 on the chat to say, I'm free to come round and count your tarantulas for you, Dave.
Hey, this is what Lewis will do. He'll stand there and dictate while you're counting all the tarantulas.
A8 Converter Man said, he says everyone knows Dave, to the point where he collected 4 exo nanos from a lovely lady called Jen from the north of Bournemouth, and she said she knew Dave and he was the reason she'd gotten into Old Worlds. That was just some random lady that he went to collect some exo terrors from.
I know. Yeah, I know Jen. Yeah, she's a very good friend. Her and her husband Mike. We met through the spiders. She literally messaged me one day and was after some slings. She came around, ended up going with a few, and she's had countless bits and pieces ever since. And we've become very, very good friends. Yeah, very cool.
Harry Jones says, not going to lie, watching Dave's videos has absolutely skyrocketed my care for my tarantulas and given me the confidence to deal with an OBT. You can't get a better compliment than that, can you?
No, that is absolutely awesome. Yeah, that is really that is all I've ever wanted, is for people to enjoy their hobby as much as I enjoy my hobby, and that is all it's been about.
Nigel Smith says, I was new to the hobby and I bought from Dave. I remember asking him, are these suitable? And he said they will grow with you as long as you follow the steps. That is so true.
That's really...
With the slings, though, I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? What sling it is, because as that grows, so does your experience with that spider.
Yeah, definitely. I think, there's, again, you see people, and to be fair, YouTube has been the cause of a lot of it, is you see people that are still very jumpy with tiny, tiny slings. And it doesn't matter what kind of reputation that sling has got, it's not really going to do you any harm. You know, it's very, very small. But you still get people treating them as if it was an adult, and they're terrified of it. And, and to be fair, YouTube has probably created an awful amount of that.
No,
if you can put escape tarantula or fear or shouting and stuff like that onto a thumbnail, you get the views, and that's the unfortunate thing with YouTube. Harry Jones says, Dave, I've been watching your videos religiously for about 4 months now, but can you tell me what's in your famous beastie mix? Because I still don't know.
We got a video on just that subject. Go and watch it. It is literally the beastie mix is literally just leaf mulch and what have you that I collect from the woods. That is it. There's nothing more special than that, and it's literally I just scrape it all up. If you watch one of the very early videos, which was the moss, mulch, and branches video, we go into a bit of detail about what we're doing and what we get and everything else. We are going to do a new one because we've had a lot of requests for a new updated version sort of thing. So I think we'll probably try and get around to doing that. But yeah, it's I use it. I mean, it's free. It's it don't cost you anything apart from a nice walk in the countryside, and you get all your beasties are inside it. Everything is in there. You go to your local shop and you spend £3.50 on a box of springtails. Why not just take a carrier bag into the woods? Save your £3.50 and go and buy a beer. It's just better, isn't it?
£3.50 on a box of springtails, £7 on a bag of substrate. There's a tenner gone.
Yeah.
In this day and age, you've got to scrape those pennies back.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I have been shocked though with seeing now on the shows people selling leaves, mulch, branches
from out of the woods.
And I sort of I think one of the shows, I think you were there when I think it might have been the BTS, and there was a big stand there, and there was just rows and rows of this stuff. And as I went by, I heard one of them on the table turn around and go, "Yeah, that's that guy off YouTube." and I literally had to walk away. I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're flogging this stuff." I've been trying to tell everyone it's free. Go and get it yourself. But yeah, people are making a killing, I guess.
Dave, I learnt the hard way. Not everything by me is free to go and get yourself. I had stick insects. I was told I can feed them this, and whenever I went to collect it, I brought it back. I killed all my stick insects.
Really?
I think the only thing when you're collecting stuff out of the wild is, and it's more of a disclaimer, is like just make sure you've got the landowner's permission, because it is, if they want it to be funny, and some landowners can be very funny. They can say, "Oh, well, he's stealing off my land. It'll probably never go anywhere." But if you can get the landowner's permission to go, that means you're free to go get as much as you want, whenever you want.
Yeah, there's plenty of wild areas now that we can go to. There's big nature reserves. There's all sorts of stuff that we can go and visit. Fallen branches and sticks are no one's property. So you can go along and you can do them. Moss is a little bit on the other side. We're actually taking a living thing away, so that's a little bit different. So you have to be careful with what you do, and you've got to be sensible as well. And this is one of the things actually comes around a little bit to what we were saying when I said about the ones at the shows and they're flogging this stuff. You're pulling this stuff up on a bit of a mass scale now. When I go out and I pull up a couple of A4 sheets pieces and I come home and I do a couple of my enclosures, it's no big deal. If you're going to go out and start raping the countryside of big sheets of it, then it is going to be a problem. So, I always say to people, just take what you need. There's no need to be greedy. You can always go again, That
is, especially now we seem to be losing a lot more countryside than what we are gaining. Yeah. I think that is a huge statement. It is literally just don't take it all. And if there's signs up saying endangered and all this, that, and t'other, just have a quick look, because sometimes it will show you pictures of mosses that are actually endangered in the UK that need to be kind of left. But the majority is all good to go. All good to go. Chris is on wheels. Hey Callum as well. Is doing a brilliant job. He's just dropped some more pictures of the questions that are going on.
Cool.
Let's have a quick look. Yeah, incredible inverts with other animals. Does the same, collects leaf litter, moss, etc., and does a litter pick at the same time, which is Phil from Incredible Inverts and other. Is a zookeeper as well. So not only have you got Dave doing it, you have also got zookeepers out doing exactly the same thing. So you've got like a double nod to the countryside there. Then we've also had we had Chris ask earlier how the blondies are getting on.
Blondies. Yes, we've had it's been a bad show this year. The blondie, she held her egg sac for around about 40 days, and then she ate it. And I had 3 spiders all eat their sacs on the same day. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. And then my Sturmy female, she dropped an egg sac as well. She went to about 50 or 55 days, and I pulled her sac because she just opened up the entrance a little bit. She just changed it a little bit, and I got a little bit nervous, and I thought, right, I'm going to take that away now. So I took it away. We had 194 eggs in that sac, but unfortunately, the whole sac was infertile. So that was gutting as well.
It's been a bit of a bad year for the breeders this year.
It's been very bad. I mean, I've even had a Cambridgei only yesterday at a sac. Now, they're one of the most confident, easy spiders to do. And for no reason at all, she's at it.
Do you think it's got anything to do with the 2 days over 40 degrees and possibly atmospheric pressures?
No, I don't know, because my blondie sac, that was back before we really came into summer, I think. That was like springtime. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think most of mine that have gone bad, in actual fact, my geniculata, she ate a, my chromatus ate a sac the following day. My GBB ate a sac. My Machala ate a sac. Bloody hell, there was loads of them. So yeah, the successes this year have been very, very limited. And speaking to a few other people, they've had similar sort of problems. So, which is nice to know. You know, it's nice to know that others are suffering the same problems that you're suffering, which means only nice because it means that I don't have to look so carefully at what I'm doing now. I now have to look outside of that box and think, right, what is the general feel? You know, why are we all suffering the same problems? So that's got to be something down to, maybe the weather, maybe atmospherics. I really don't know. It's been a real head scratcher, to be fair. I'm sort of looking forward to now. If once we start cooling down, I think maybe the heat might have something to do with it, because generally speaking, I have better successes in the winter. In the cooler months, things do go better. But I mean, the strangest thing has been some of the easiest spiders to do have been just as problematic. So yeah,
I think in the winter you can control those temperatures a lot easier, can't you? Because once it goes down, it's very difficult to reduce it to go down to sort of a manageable temperature. But when it's cold, it's easier just to put the radiator on and the thermostat clicks off when it gets to 27, 28. Have a quick look. Harry Jones it's his first time pairing tarantulas, and he's pairing the Samanis next month. He said, "Cool, Dave. Any advice?"
They're not a bad one. They're reasonably easy. It's interesting actually that there's not a great deal of them are actually bred in captivity, because there's so many of them come in wild caught that drop sacs, you know, of their own accord, where they've paired out in the wild. So yeah, they're not a one that's massively bred in the hobby, really. Not as a captive bred specimen, you know. Most of them are wild caught where they just drop their sacs. But I mean, they're pretty much you don't really have to make any special things. Just follow the normal golden rules. Make sure you know when your female molted out, because that gives you a time span now as to how far you've got going forward. One of the things I have been playing with is I've been leaving my males now to, after they've matured, I quite often leave them 8 to 12 weeks before I introduce them to a female. So that's just something else I've been playing with, really, because I think sometimes the males can be used too early, and this is why you're getting that lack of interest. And sometimes the female will just come straight out and spank him. You know, I think it's there's something there. You know, sometimes it's better to leave them a bit longer, I think.
Makes sense, because then instead of he's matured, he's laid a sperm web, let's chuck him in. I suppose giving those 12 weeks, is building his energy levels back up to what he was before that ultimate molt, getting all his strength back, and then going in. Yeah,
you have to be careful, because the different species have different time scales. So, like, if you've got something like a blondie or a sturmy, that male's going to be good for 2 years or more. If you've got something like a funnel web, he's looking at months. Yeah. So, you know, you need to take into account what kind of spider you're hoping to deal with, and that should decide for you how long you leave him. Really, you can always follow the golden rule, where you just wait for your male to produce a sperm web, and then once he's produced a sperm web, then he's ready to go. I normally like to try and feed mine before they get to that. And I find if I can get them feeding early, 9 times out of 10 they will feed throughout. But if I don't offer them food, then 9 times out of 10 they'll fast.
So you've got the old doctrine of you shouldn't feed the males because then they're going to die sooner. It's just water, water, water. And again, Dave's there telling you guys that you can feed the males completely fine.
Until they stopped feeding, and I still feed them, and now they cohabitate.
I think with regards to the feeding of the males, again, this is something that we need to get people to understand. There is feeding and there's feeding. So we feed for different purposes, and depending on what that purpose is, depends on what we feed and how we feed it. It's not just feeding. This is where I think this is where people need to step out of the box a little bit. It's that same old adage of like, oh, you know, should I feed it every Thursday? Who gives a damn what day you feed it on? You know, you let the spider talk to you and tell you when it wants feeding. And it's the same with the males. You want to get food into them because you want their strength up, but you don't want to be giving them massive meals that are literally going to blow them out and then do the opposite effect. Because don't forget, he's still growing to some extent. He never stopped growing, so he's still growing. So when we say about feeding our males, we are looking at just purely a maintenance diet. Yeah, something to keep him fueled and ticking over. That's all we're looking for.
Mine just like to cohabitate with their food anyway. My LPO is cohabitated.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of cohabiting.
Nope. Nope.
Now the roaches keep the tank clean, so.
Oh, Jackie's just whacked my Patreon. Cheers, Jackie. Dan World says, Dave, do you have a video on a orange fringe adult setup, as needs more information on them?
Orange fringe? What, the Thai golden fringe?
I think that's what they're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, we done. I'm pretty sure I done a rehouse and care of that adult female. So it would have been a way back.
Go searching through his videos.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's one there.
Hi, Aaron. I've seen Aaron just pop up. Boy who has autism. Hey, mate.
Hey, hello, buddy.
Lou Pang, which is Lewis, says, has Uncle Dave paired the E. Murinus yet?
Yes, I paired them once, and he's due to go in again. I've literally got so many pairings I need to redo again, and I'm struggling with time at the moment. But he's been in once, and I'm not 100% sure about it because it was so fast. It was unbelievable. I mean, it literally, I set my camera up, put it on. I think their actual meeting was probably less than a minute, and it was all over and done with. But looking at the reaction from both spiders, I would say it was successful. But he needs to go in again.
To be honest, Dave, I mean, a minute. That's usually my meeting with the wife, and you can normally tell by my face it was successful, but the wife never. She always looks miserable.
What's the matter with her?
Yeah, she's a bulldog chewing a wasp on the best of days. Carl Luca Adams says, would the moss from the woods be good for my live feeder food eggs to stop them from drying out in the dry heat we have had lately?
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Can we put a bit of moss in with our feeder colonies?
You can do, but I don't know what it would achieve. I don't think I don't with any of mine. I literally just use the egg crates and the bran on the bottom. Again, actually, that's another interesting thing because in the videos, I tell everyone about keeping it dry. Now, when I say keeping it dry, we're looking at keeping the bran on the floor dry. Yeah? Where the egg crates are, there will be a certain amount of humidity within them egg crates and everything else, and that's where they tend to lay their eggs. One of the things that if you're failing with your egg cases hatching, or your colony is not growing as quick as you want it to, it can quite often be the fact that when you put your egg crates together, they need to lock together. Yeah? But just have the tiniest of gap. Just a tiny gap. Because what happens is, if you put your egg crate in and then if you've got one egg crate like that and another one leaning up like that, you've got a big gap in the middle, you've got nowhere for the babies to hide, and the adults will eat them. The males especially will eat the youngsters. So, and they will also, the Euthicas dry out too much and they don't hatch. So what you want to do is put your egg crates together, but with just the finest of gaps so that they can get in and move about. And then what I do is I put a couple of others together that are really close that the adults can't get into at all. So that then, when your babies hatch, they will then find them really tight ones and they'll grow in them unhindered, and then you'll be all right. But they do have that humidity in there. When I say about keeping the substrate dry, it's because you don't want rotting food and, it's stinking and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so that's what's meant by that.
Emma Jones says, I remember one of Dave's videos from about 2 years ago. Where the female ate the sack, and at the end of the whole video, Dave called the spider a greedy cow.
Oh man, what was that one? What was that? I vaguely remember that. Oh,
you said this in this video. You're like, did I?
Yeah, no, I do remember it. I'm trying to think what spider it was. I think it might have been with Kraken. I think it might have been with Kraken. She ate the bloody eggs out. It right royally pissed me off. Yeah, pretty sure it was that.
A converter man says we have a 6 to 7 centimeter Psalmopaeus reduncus arriving tomorrow. Appreciate Dave keeps less new worlds these days, but any experience with them?
Yeah, I've got about 8 of them here. Hang on 2 seconds. I'm going to have to open my door. I'm sweating.
I just need to phone my other half quickly because she's got to take our lad up the hospital. He's just gone down to the walk-in centre. He had a little bit of a fit today, and his temperature has just gone up.
Oh, well, let's hope the little fella's good.
It's not nothing out of the ordinary anymore. It is. It isn't. It's just normality.
We had regarding the reduncus. I would just keep them the same as your Erminia or your Cambridgei. They're all pretty much the same, to be fair. There's no great differences with any of them. They're they all do the same thing. So yeah, follow the same parameters and you won't go wrong. They're a nice, easy spider actually. They're pretty timid things.
The whole time I play is genus. I'll just keep them all the same.
Yeah. There's no differences for them really. They're a real good genus actually. I like them a lot. There's a lot to be said for them. And they got everything. So they got like a lot of them have got that jumping stone sort of thing. You know, they got that little bit of an attitude. They can be a little bit flighty. You know, so if you want to sort of like step up a little bit, they're a good intermediate spider. They're also, if you want to get into breeding, you know, the Erminia, the Cambridgei, and the Reduncus, you know, they're all the same. They're all a real nice one to do your first breedings, you know, because they're fairly quick. So, you know, you can pair them. They're readily available. Normally within a couple of months of pairing, they drop in a sack. So, yeah, you can get good results and learn an awful lot from them.
Let me just check this next one. Harry Jones, you must hear this one a lot. I mean, I do, which is so tempted to get my first centipede, but heard so many stories about escapees.
Again, this comes back to what we were saying in the very beginning. There's an awful lot of regurgitated rubbish out there about this. Now I know everyone's going to have their own views and opinions with centipedes, with regarding to enclosures and all the rest of it. I personally think most of it is overkill. I've kept centipedes in all sorts of different things. And to be honest with you, if you want a real cheap, effective thing, you won't go far wrong from a Komodo. Komodo enclosure, perfectly adequate. I've kept the largest centipede in them Komodos without any issues whatsoever. You would have seen in one of my videos, actually, my Darwin centipede. That is in one of my own custom-made enclosures, which I designed myself. And that has got a very, very fine food-grade mesh roof. And when I first put that video out, they were all like, she's going to chew out of that. And, well, there's nothing. She's done nothing. I think
that's what I got told with the harness, that they chew through mesh. And like you said, that's the Komodo there, and that's got a Dahani in it.
Yeah.
I've sloped the substrate, so the substrates get thicker and thicker the further back you go. Mm-hmm. I never see it out to chew the mesh because it's always down in the substrate. Centipedes, I'm a big fan of them. They don't come out as much as what you think. They like to be down in that substrate.
Yeah, the majority of centipedes are really nocturnal. You can encourage them to come out. My Darwin spends an awful lot of time sitting outside, although my white leg, she only ever comes out when she's hungry. So you will not see her. Once she's fed, that is it. You don't see her again then for another week or so, depending on what she's eaten. But yeah, as regards to the thing, I think it's vastly overkill, and I think also as well the commercial side of the hobby has alienated the centipede for sales, because there's an awful lot of people. If you tell someone, you know, this is really bad or this is really dodgy or whatever, there's a large percentage of the hobby will go straight out and buy it purely on the back of that. So I think as a commercial thing, quite often the misinformation comes across to make sales.
So, I mean, I watched a video. Now, as all the subscribers know, that I'm not in favour of handling at all. But I was watching this guy's documentary on Scolopendria morphia, and he went out and actually found them in the wild. And he dug one up, and then he picked it up. Subsequently, it bit him, and I was thinking, well, that serves you right. I bet that hurts. And he literally said it hurt for about 30 seconds. Then he showed you a picture of the area where it bit him half an hour later, and it was a little bit red. An hour later, completely gone. No pain, no nothing. Everything's gone. But if you go on kind of Facebook groups or social media, other outlets, they will tell you that if you get hit by a Scolopendria polymorphia, then it's off to hospital for painkillers. You know, you're going to lose your leg. You're going to end up growing tentacles on your back and all sorts. But yeah, I think it's shock factor, sell stories, and shock factor gain subscribers. That is the issue that you're facing, really, David, with getting correct info out there.
I think it's also there is still a very, very big macho following in spiders and centipedes, and this is what it comes back to. I mean, if you think about what was it, the Black Furies, you look at them when they first came out, they got advertised as something that was not of this world. You know, you had to be a real man to be able to deal with one of these guys. So what happened? All the assholes went and bought one, didn't they? And then they found, oh, actually, I'm not quite the man I thought I was, and they were shit scared of it. So, you know, they're all giving them away now because they're too frightened to open the bloody door. But then, I had one on the channel, and I got it out and I showed just how calm and nice it was. You know, it was a nice, easy spider to deal with, and it's down to that the image making, and that's how so much of this stuff is sold.
Happy and actually, I'll ask that question in a second or two. If it's the hard man walking down the road with the bulldog situation, isn't
it? Yeah, very much.
We centipede, look, get it out. Yeah, I ain't scared. All that type of attitude, and that attitude is no good for the hobby, and it's certainly no good for our animals. Happy Ant UK would like to know if you're still looking at getting leaf cutters. You mentioned it once. He's not going to let it go because he is crazy for these ants, and we all know that you love those leaf cutters.
I have got some. I have actually got some. There's a little bit of a story that there was a friend of mine who I met like through selling slings and bits and pieces. He came around and he's had countless bits and pieces off me, and he bought a very, very small. I mean, you could have got it in a little matchbox, you know, and the queen was inside that. And there was probably about 40 or 50 ants with it. And he bought it, and then he was like, oh, you know, you ever had these? And so I sort of explained to him what to do and all the rest of it. Well, he kept them for some time, but they basically drove him nuts because he was terrified of losing them. And he was sort of, you know, he got paranoid about them all dying off. So he literally said to me, would I like them? And I was like, well, go on, and bring them around. So he did. He brought them all round. Well, I've had them here ever since, and they've flourished. They've literally gone bananas. And I'm now in the process of debating, because they need to be rehoused now. I need to work out what I'm going to do with them finally. And I've not come to that decision yet.
Please do what you said you were going to do with the rope.
Yes, I would like to in time, but we're actually we're hoping to move in the next year, so I don't want to set them up on that scale unless I'm in something permanent, and then I can go ahead and do it. But yeah, at the moment the colony is about this big, so yeah, it's quite a size now.
Centipede Short says most shouldn't handle centipedes. They do agree. But they also handle centipedes to show that they also have a gentle side. I kind of get that. Mate.
Again, it's one of them things, isn't it? You get too many people, if you like, commenting on their own ability, and this is one of the things I often say in my videos. You know, just because I do something, don't judge me by your ability. You know, I do what I do because I'm comfortable doing it. But you know, if you're not comfortable, then you don't need to do it. It's as simple as that.
It's a strange one. I mean, I say I'm against handling, and then I'll put out a how to handle your tarantula video for people that want to, because you're always going to get one of your followers going, well, I really want to handle my curly hair.
Yeah.
And my video was like, well, if you put your hand flat on the enclosure and let your curly hair walk across it, you've done it. You've got it out your system. Job done.
Yeah.
That is the easiest and safest way you can do it. Oh God, Phil would put this in. He says, are they ATA or the Acromyramex?
These are the smaller ones. So I think that's the Myramex. Yeah, I think they are Acromyramex. The Ata is the really large colony. Size-wise, there's not much difference between these and the large Attas. So yeah, because I think originally years ago when I helped look after them in the zoo, we had a large colony there, and I think they were Atta, if I remember correctly. So these aren't much different, to be fair, but the actual colony size with the Attas, they get into like the billions, whereas these guys get into like the millions, if you like. So there's a different colony size. The Attas have absolutely humongous underground colonies. You know, they're like you could build a house on top of their house, sort of thing. You know, they're very extensive. Whereas the ones that I have here, they're even as a really large colony, is still small in comparison to an Atta colony.
Callum, which is Happy Ant UK in the chat, should be able to remind me because I can't remember. But the last show there was a leaf cutting colony. It wasn't up for sale. I think I want to say it was Wakushi. I'm sure it was Wakushi. And they had the fungus growing in a big tube. And the plan was to see how high up the fungus would actually be built before it collapses. To kind of get a judgment on how big an enclosures that they can go through in the future. And some of his ant setups were just like futuristic. They're absolutely amazing bits of kit.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm actually in the process at the moment of starting to look into different options as to what I can do with mine. I was originally just going to go back to the old school method that we done years ago with an open air moat and what have you, and I'm still really pushing towards that side of things because the maintenance of that is so much easier. Whereas a lot of these ones that we're seeing on the market now that are completely sealed units, I understand why they're sealed because obviously we don't want our ants getting away, but it makes actually dealing with them in some respects more awkward. So yeah, I'm still twixt. I'm probably going to come up with my own design and just do something myself and see how we get on. But I need an intermediate thing at the moment because they're pretty much outgrowing what they're in. So I need to be able to move them into something else before they have their final destination, as it were.
Happy Ant said it was Wakushi that had them, and Incredible Inverts and Other Animals said they were the Atta Mexicana. DIY is much cheaper, says Happy Ant too. What's that one? So I really do hope I get your name right, and apologies if I pronounced it incorrectly. But Nanja says, Dave, can you give us an update on the Whitney and a new enclosure and the Celedonia?
Oh yeah, the Whitney. You would have seen it was a bit of an update when I paired her. So she'd been in that enclosure for a couple of months by then, and everything's going well. It's looking really, really good. She did produce a sack from that pairing, but then she ate it. So yeah, I'm not sure why that was, but the actual enclosure itself has proved to be really, really successful. And that was with the new enclosure, the ones I designed myself. So it's been a nice thing because I've had them now for 6 months or more, and I put a variety of different things in them just to see how things would work. And going forward, I'm going to stick with that design. So my room will actually end up being completely my own tanks in the end. That's
That'd be awesome.
the plan. So I just needed to trial them first and make sure I was happy with everything that they do, and I can work with them. But it's all going well. The Celedonia, one of my females I lost. She died. One of them. She molted, and then around about 2 months later, she just went on a walkabout and died. I don't know why. She was only about 4 years. Yeah, about 4 years old. So not terrible. And my other one is still waiting to drop a sack. And I'm probably going to rehouse her this weekend, but I'm probably going to put her into one of my Exo Nanos, and then I'll plant it out a little bit and put her in there because I want to change the thing, because she should have dropped her sack by now, but she's holding on. She's huge, absolutely huge, but she's not dropping. So I'm thinking of a change of environment might just, kickstart her into doing something.
So it's just come 9 o'clock. So anybody new to the channel, we don't swear until 9 o'clock, just in case. So if you've got any children that are watching, just remember that we do swear. The comments will be full of moist o'clock because they say it's moist o'clock at 9 p.m. and they like to say Scott is a W anchor. Vivian, are you still watching? Let me know in the comments. That would be awesome. So yeah, if you've got children watching, we do start swearing. So if you're you might want to move them to a different room. We don't swear like loads. It's just like we just go back to knocking one out every now and again, I suppose. Nice to hear about the enclosures you're working on, says Nanja. Dave might have a drop a. What's that? Erin says, sorry, my spelling is terrible. Don't you worry about it, Erin, as long as I can kind of make out what's going on. So, Cole Luke Adams says, oh my God, every time I feed my tarantulas, my 10-year-old is constantly asking about holding one of the tarantulas. Have we got any ideas on allowing him to try and do it with his ADHD? Our lad, he's got autism and bits and bobs, and there's no way I'd let him because it'd go flying across the room. But there is roaches and things like that. That's what would you reckon, Dave?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good shout. To be fair, if your kids and that want to get involved, there's a whole heap of things that they can be involved with. Get some like hissing roaches. Sorry. You think like hissing roaches. I mean, they are absolutely bomb-proof, and they're real easy to look after and what have you. They're a good thing for young kids. Anything like that. I mean, even millipedes and stuff like that can be useful. You can do stuff. Some of your really large stick insects are quite interesting as well. There's lots and lots of things out there that you can do. It just depends on what kind of effort you want to put into looking after them. That's the simple thing. And then also as well, it's with kids, as we all know, they can wane in and out of interest. So I would go on the cheap side to start with, and perhaps do some missing cockroaches or something like that.
Vanessa says millipedes are brilliant. Wolf Goddess says her son is ADHD and ASD, and she won't be letting hold any. He has his own. Carson has got his own tarantulas in his own room as well. Night, Callum. Let's just have a quick look. So, Chris, for anybody that's only just come in, Chris on Wheels is kind of screenshotting any questions that come through that we miss and sending me via Messenger. So earlier on, Harry Jones says, first time we've already had that one. He's put that one in twice. That was about the Somani.
All right. Yeah. What else we got?
Just having a quick get a handable invert that you want when they lose interest.
Who's that Vivian Vixen? What's the favour?
Oh my God, Dave! Right, so we've got the Scott's Inverts Facebook group, off the back of that, I thought it'd be a great idea to set up a WhatsApp chat, right?
Right.
So we're all adults in this WhatsApp chat. We're all a bit wonky. So today we have been sending each other pictures with our fingers in the air. And Vivian said, "Scott, could you please get Dave to do it? Could you please flip the birdie for Vivian?" And that would be absolutely awesome. But she kept all three of us and then screenshot it, Viv.
Yeah.
Dave, Lewis says, "Dave, what is your favourite franchise?" Scott knows what I mean by that. I don't, Lewis. You're going to have to PM me. I don't know what you're on about.
Favorite franchise?
I'm unsure. It was probably one of those detailed conversations I had with him, and I forgot all about it.
You like the favorite retailer or something? Favorite shop?
There's a couple of the subscribers that are actually in that WhatsApp chat, and it's just like, Vivian, amazing idea. No hesitation from Dave there. Osman says, "Boom, there it is." Even Phil did one. He videoed his beetles at the zoo, and literally he's going across it, and across them. I'm thinking, come on, where's the birdie? About 2 minutes later, he's just like, boop, blah. I spoke to you about it last night. Lewis, you're gonna have to message me. So I remember, like film, TV, that sort of thing. Oh yes, franchise like with the film. So like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars or Star Trek. Lewis is crazy for Star Wars. I mean, you go around Lewis's house, he's got them great big massive models of the ships up, and
Yeah.
I think he takes a Chewbacca to bed with him. You know?
Oh blimey! Do you know some of my favourite ones is Resident Evil.
Yes, no talking.
I love Resident Evil.
Alice is what we all watch Resident Evil for.
Alice is she's my kind of girl. And then I like Blade. Blade's another one. That's another one I really, really like. Who else? Well, I don't know. I actually quite like the Jurassic Parks as well. They're sort of like bloody weird, aren't they? But yeah, I've never really been a lover of Star Wars. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the way it's made. Don't do it.
Lewis, close your ears, mate. Close your ears.
Yeah.
I'll put the link to the WhatsApp group onto the Scott's Inverts Facebook group again, if you like. Mark Spider Guy did send you the link to it. Ellie's been in it and left, from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Because before you join it, just remember it can go. You can literally blink and there's 100 messages. We can't be friends anymore, Dave, says Lewis. Can you settle an argument between me and Lewis? And that is, which one, in your opinion, is better, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Star Trek.
Good lad. Lewis. he'll be like that. He'll be going, right, where's Dave's channel? Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
He's no longer Uncle Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that?
Jurassic Park says the Unusual Pets. Yeah, that's another good one. There's loads, though, aren't there? There's loads.
Yeah. I'll tell you one of my favourite films. I don't. It's weird. I'm not really into comedy films. I don't know what it is. I don't find them funny, to be fair. You know, most of them, it's like pipes, laughter, and I can't be dealing with it. But one of the films that I really, really enjoy, Zombieland. Have you seen that? Zombieland?
Not yet, no.
Oh, you're missing out, man. You need to go and watch that. That is brilliant. Brilliant stuff.
Tony says both terrible. I think she's referring to Star Wars and Star Trek.
What's that? Is that Amar Ali? What's this about Vietnam? Slings on Vietnam being sold in bulk? What was that?
Let me just go back up the chat. Was it a couple of seconds ago, or?
Yeah, ain't far away. Oh, actually, I don't know. Bloody hell.
If the person that messaged about the spiderlings in bulk could just drop their message back into the comments, that would be absolutely awesome. Gemma says Dave has got great taste.
Thank you.
He really likes biz and Dave, says Lewis. Yeah, Amol Ali, yes, I asked about it, Dave.
Yeah, so what was that? It was slings from Vietnam. Are you talking about the silvers? Vietnam silvers. Is that what you're referring to?
Are they the ones that are like totally overpriced? Like,
well, they were, but they're not now.
They were like, wow, they are.
I think when they hit the market, they were going for 170 quid each. They're now down at 70 quid each.
Have you paired them?
In no space at all. Mine are a bit young at a minute.
The Spider King, which is Jay, hey Jay, says, how long should it take for a GBB to lay a stack after being paired?
I get asked this an awful lot, and there's no real. It's really difficult to put a time scale on it because environmental factors is what makes the difference. So if it's warmer in your situation, the chances are it's probably going to come quicker. If it's more humid, it can come quicker, or the opposite. If you're keeping it really dry, it might take a bit longer. It all depends on species as well. So there's lots and lots of different factors which can influence your spiders. That being said, I've had spiders here that when they drop their first sack, they drop them really quick. And when I come round and breed them a second time round, they take them forever to drop them, and vice versa. So, yeah, it's a really, really difficult one. But I would normally suggest with a GBB, you can be looking at anything from. I would give it a good 2 to 3 months after pairing before I'd start thinking about it actually doing anything.
Mark's just dropped Wolf Goddess's channel link into the comments to try and give her a little bit of boost. So if you want to click on that link, drop her a subscription. That would be very, very grateful. DJ, I bought this. Gemma says, Dave, any Balfouri babies?
Not at the moment. I've got some juvies available.
How much are you selling the juvies for, Dave?
Hey?
How much are you selling the juvies for?
They'll probably be around about 30 quid each, something like that. Yeah, I've got no slings at the minute. Interestingly enough, I had for the first time ever. This goes to show how this season's gone. But this is the first time it's ever happened to me. But one of my Balfouris ate a sack.
Oh.
And that was literally about 2 days before it should have sort of hatched out. And yeah, I looked in there expecting to see little slings kicking around, and yeah, it all gone, a whole lot.
To be fair though, Gemma, if you've got juvies, at least you're going to see them a lot more. And I think Balfouris are got to be the most gentle old world that there is.
Yeah,
They're absolutely stunning.
I mean, I've got a couple of. I've got two groups of 5, which they'll go for like 100 quid for the 5, and then there's and I've got some others which are a little bit bigger.
And I think he's got possible appendicitis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and tonsillitis and an ear infection.
Okay. Won't be a second. Just got to make an appointment phone call because the little one's really not well.
No worries. We've got. Right, that's down to you, Ellie. What are you doing?
Playing with very long pubic hair.
Concentrating as usual. Look at that.
Oh, why not? Hey, then from who? See?
Who else we got in here?
Everybody needs to fill up the chat. Scott's a wanker and his beard is fake. He stole it from Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, Lewis. Yeah, just throw me a message about the valves. We'll sort something out. What else we got? Valve hormone. Underworld, bleed now.
Layla.
Right, we are back. We are back. Yeah, the little one is not very well. He's been to the walk-in centre, and they've suggested that he goes up to the hospital because his heart rate's a bit all over the shop. Possible appendicitis or possible tonsillitis all at the same time.
Oh, blimey.
Oh, I know.
What do you do? Get a special deal or something? Why didn't you get everything all at once? God.
Literally, only Leo can do that.
How old is he?
3.
Oh man, poor little fella. That's bad enough when you're an adult and you suffer with anything. At least you can understand what's all going on. But when you're little, it must be really frightening, isn't it?
For him, it's nothing out of the ordinary. Normally, his autism stuff, and then, I mean, he went down today because he's got a high temperature. Because he had, it's not an epileptic fit; it's an autistic or autistic fit because they're different. Don't ask me how. I ain't got the foggiest. But he's just come back with all that. So Tara's literally just phoning up a taxi now to take him down to the hospital. What are your thoughts on those slings from Vietnam being sold in bulk on Facebook? I think is he referring to the species silver again?
Yeah, I think it must be.
I think it's like anything being sold in bulk.
I think if you're selling in bulk, then it needs to reflect in the price. Really, So I think. Yeah, I mean, most people that buy in bulk are normally looking at reselling themselves, at a later date, or they might be thinking of, like a breeding project or something like that. But yeah, it needs to. If you're going to be buying in bulk, it needs to be reflected in the price.
For everybody worrying about me going to the hospital, I won't be closing the stream because it's normal for this household. Because Layla is in the other room with Noah, so we can't actually go to the hospital as 5. So somebody's got to be here with the other 2 anyway. So, and I'd rather be with you guys and worrying than turning the stream off and literally just waiting. So we're all good. We're all good. But like I said, this isn't for us and Leo going to the hospital. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So don't worry too much. It's we're all good. But yeah, the normal routine is literally Tara gets a taxi, takes him up the hospital. They tend to come back at 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning or whatever time it is, and go from there. So he's pretty good. It's probably the doctors when he goes up the walk-in centre normally say there's There's all sorts of things going on. And then when he gets to the hospital normally turn around and say, it's just from the autism fit, don't worry. And that's it. And that's that. So Erin says he'll be fine. There you go. He'll be all right. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not nothing out of the ordinary. And
He'd be in the best possible place, wouldn't he?
yeah, it's all suspected stuff. And he's had these suspected stuff before. And when he's gone up the hospital and they've put him on heart rate monitors, the proper ones and all the rest of it, everything's fine. And it's just one of the side effects from having one of his fits, which he's had several today. So that's why I'm a bit more relaxed than what you'd expect, is because I'm pretty much expecting the hospital to turn around and say everything's fine, go home, and Tyra turn up about 3 a.m. like. Dave, have you found wall space for that framed leaf insect yet?
Yes, I have. Yeah. Yes. That is in beastie room number 2.
So jealous.
Yeah, along with Ellie's picture as well. That's in there and all.
Thank you.
Dave, what picture of Ellie's have you got?
Scott, don't be jealous, Dave. Don't show him.
I can't divulge that. That was a private discussion, and you weren't invited.
Deadly Noise said, Shade says, can you ask Dave if he still has any Havocs left for sale?
No, they've all gone. Actually, the last one went literally last week. So I've got no more now. I've got a couple of verses, and I mean literally a couple. I think I've got 2 or 3 left. They've all gone, unfortunately. Until next time.
BH would like to know the top 3 new worlds. They did ask for all 3 of us to comment on that one a little while ago. But I suppose, would that be top 3 favourite new world tarantulas? That's a very difficult one.
My top 3 is, right, do you want to hear it? Diopheles dynamensis is number 1. Number 2 is Pamphobeus mascara. Number 3 is Grammastola iharingi scorby.
Dolichophylla diamantinensis is a good one.
Yeah, that's... Don't see it much, though, do you?
Nope. You don't see those very often. Or the Alexia. Is it the Alexia, the darker one?
Pink and purple one as well, the neon colour. They're cute.
I think I'd probably go for a GBB.
Oh, no.
You know what? I still prefer...
Euripides and Pentalorus.
I think the Aminia always make me... whenever mine are out, I just have to stop and have a look at them. I think they're absolutely stunning. Really fine.
Nothing spider, aren't they?
Oh, they really are cool. Considering they're a real dog common sort of spider, I think they're one of the best in the hobby.
Attracted to the Cambridge than I am the Arminian.
Yeah. I mean, the Cambridgei is really underrated. You see that up close and have a really good look at it. They are fantastic. Really nice.
The one I got from you, Dave, Leah got it at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're really cool. I like them a lot. The Geniculata is always another firm favourite. You're never going to get away from that. And to be honest, I do like the Blue Fang and all. That's really smart.
So somebody asked earlier, Chris has just summed up several questions from one person in one. Says basically he was saying somebody on Facebook is selling G Singapore blues and 6 other species in bulk to be sold stealthily internationally, and is asking, is it safe to do so? you need all your paperwork. You've got to have an export license from your seller, and you've got to have an import license yourself, and that's pretty much it. Import licenses are free. You just got to go online and work it all out and fill it all out yourself.
So is that someone selling here wanting to sell them abroad?
Or the other way, I think somebody's selling them possibly abroad for UK sale, maybe.
I'd be a bit careful of that,
especially on Facebook.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch that with a barge pole.
No.
Because unless unless you got someone that you trust that can vouch for these people, I seriously would not do it, because there's too many of them now. They're all coming across and they'll sell you anything on paper, and you send your money over, and then that's it. You're blocked. You don't get you don't see them again. I would I would steer well clear about that. It's a bit like the old saying: if it sounds too good to be true, normally is.
I'm going, awkward child won't go to bed, says Diana. Mark says Chacolays, Poultries and Versicola. That's a good list. Steve says Amernia, Samani and Hamori. I was just going back to them. Yeah, like I said, you've got to be very careful with international stuff. Like I said, you have to have your correct licenses in place, as well as double checking that the sender's got them as well. I've never done it internationally or anything like
that. It's generally not worth it, because the only way you can make it worthwhile is you need to do serious bulk.
Completely, like just coming away from that. Forza Cat says came up with a drinking game when watching Dave. You have to take a sip every time you hear the word stunning, catch a cup, humidity, and the list goes on. I want to know, Dave, if the camera lady t-shirts, how closer to those are we?
Right, we keep getting asked this, and I am terrible. Right,
we know. This is streamed going back to just after Christmas, Dave.
Oh man, it's been going longer than that, I reckon. Now, I tell you what my plan is. I want to because YouTube's gone so well. I want to set up a proper website, which we're sort of mucking around with at the minute. And once that's done, then I want to set up a proper merch line. But I'm really, really fussy, to be fair. So I just want the stuff to be of a really, really decent quality. Because I think if people are parting with their money for something, then I think that the least you can do is get something that's worth having. And that takes time, and time is one of the few things that I actually have. So trying to get everything in place and get done is really, really difficult. Because as you know, you're the same. I do this as a hobby, and I work full time. So it's like trying to mix it all together, still keep 2 videos going a week, and trying to sort out website people, and trying to sort out merch suppliers and everybody else. It's a long process. And I know there's a lot of people out there that they've literally just phoned someone up and said, "Oh yeah, can you just send me these t-shirts?" And they just bang out a bunch of t-shirts. And I've had different t-shirts that I've bought from different people and different ones. And you get them, you put them on, it's like wearing a cardboard box. And I'm like, does that really cost me 20 quid? So I'm sort of like, I would rather not bother unless I can actually supply something that I think is worthwhile. It's got to be, and also thinking long term as well. It's I'd rather people turn around and say, "Oh, you need to buy one of Dave's t-shirts. They really are top quality," rather than, "No, I wouldn't spend 20 quid on that because it's a piece of crap."
We bought one from Coventry Market, and Tara was like, "Oh yeah, it's relatively cheap. It's all right." Blah 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 blah. So I was like, okay, I'll have one of the collared ones because I do prefer the collared t-shirts with a couple of buttons and what I do normally do round necks, right?
Yeah.
I got one of them, and I had the Scots inverts here, and it was on the back. 2 washes, and it was just fucked, and I was so pissed off.
Well, this
I wore it on a couple of videos and thought, yeah, I can wear it to this show, and no, it was just wrecked. I was like, never again.
All the ones from Teespring ended up being perfectly fine. However, Teespring is getting a little bit difficult now when it comes to uploading what you want done.
Yeah, it is difficult. I think you need to, to find, because we've got lots of ideas for different things, and it's also putting them into.
I'm laundry, so I'm not going to do it. I went through design school having to make and create clothing and different branding lines, but oh hell no.
Yeah.
Closest I get to laundry in washing machine on the line back in the drawer. Done. That's it.
Dave Ellie, Forza Cat has just asked if we could just say goodnight to the kids. Brandon, Sam, and Luca. Much love.
All night, kids.
Yes, good night, kids. Sleep tight.
Shall I send your kids to bed the same way I send my animals to bed? Good night, animals.
Oh, this is where you're going to get some stick, Dave. Chris is Meals. Dave, are you coming to the Coventry show?
No.
Let down.
Just
Absolute let down.
Do you know how far away Coventry is from me?
I don't care. You're Dave's little beasties. You should get to all of them.
It's going to be about 4 hours.
Yeah, but it'd be worth it.
I think mine is about 3 hours.
By mine meant to be okay. We'll have to have a look, Lewis.
Scott, how long did it take you to get to my house from your house?
Just over 2 hours, I think.
It took me about 3 hours to get to Pete's house once.
Yeah.
I find also as well with the shows, I try and limit the ones that I go to because they all tend to be of similar sort of stuff. You've got the same sort of suppliers and what have you. And I think if you go to one that's too soon after the other one, they got the same stock as well.
Yeah, but it's different people because it's different parts of the country. So you've got subscribers that go to Coventry.
Yeah.
You've got to call.
Yeah, I would like to, but I don't think I'll be able to. I'm pretty sure Brighton is going to be my next one. But I say I've invested in a few different bits and pieces, so I need to claw a bit back, really.
Steve W says Coventry's only 5 hours from 5 hours drive. It's only 80 miles, but he gets lost.
Yeah.
Chris's Zoo on Wheels says, Dave, I'll pick you up. He would as well. He would.
I know he would, yeah.
Would Dave ever have a stand at a show or best just to be a visitor?
No, actually, I would like to do some next year. But it all depends on what I breed, really, and what I'd have surplus. I don't tend to have a great deal of stuff surplus, so it all depends on whether I'd have enough to make it worthwhile to actually bother, or would it be better just to go along and enjoy the day? Either way, I think I'd enjoy it, to be fair.
Kathy's going Coventry, only 2 hours for me. Vanessa says, as long as you're going to Brighton, Dave.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I think I enjoyed the Brighton show, actually. I really like the Brighton show.
Actually, I get told off for calling her Vanessa. It's Nessa. I always get told off.
Oh, right.
Erin, the boy with autism, is definitely going to be at the Brighton show. Erin, we'll have to put a few bits together for you, Sunshine. Then Steve W is going to Bedford, Coventry, and Brighton. I'll be going to the Coventry one, but if Chris is going to the Bedford and Bristol, I'll be doing those as well. I've got to curve it a little bit the closer we get to Christmas.
This is the problem, isn't it? I mean, it's. I used to always go to the Kempton show. That was one of my favourite shows. And, that's been stopped now. So, and that was always around. That was right near the end of the year. That was around about now, actually. I think.
I know the IHS has now moved, isn't it? Isn't there two of those?
That used to be there. It used to be at Kempton. Yeah.
No, it's Manchester, isn't it now?
Bloody hell, that's a bit of a change, isn't it? Yeah, I think unfortunately the Kempton course they buckled under pressure, which is really disappointing. Really disappointing, especially when you consider that show's been going on there for years.
When's the Kettering show? Which I think is do you mean the Bedford one, Steve? The Kettering, well, that's earlier on.
Earlier in the year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Kempton Insect Show is back the first Saturday of October.
Is it?
4th of December is the Entomological Fair.
Is that at Kempton, is it?
It's incredible inverts and other animals. Phil's, yeah, must be Kempton Insect Show, the first Saturday of October.
Oh, I shall be going along to that then.
I look forward to seeing the video on that to see what's there.
I just like the whole atmosphere of Kempton is like really nice. And they used to have a really good reptile show there as well, but that got kicked out and all.
Because when somebody says insect show, that kind of gets my attention, because invert shows, they need to remove the word invert and put tarantula and centipede. So to have an insect show, that does sound like there's going to be more than just your normal couple of beetles with a couple of centipedes and a few millipedes and a ton of spiders. We're going to have lots of different stuff, maybe.
The old Kempton show used to have an awful lot of because it was an entomological show as well, so you had a lot of dried butterflies and moths and that sort of stuff, which was something that I was hugely into as a kid. I mean, crikey, when I was a nipper, I think I had every British butterfly that there was, everything, and I had a huge collection. And then I think eventually, those taste changed and things. I put them all up in the loft and forgot about them. And then when I moved house, bloody hell, probably 20 plus years later,
you never left.
Not to get them, because I thought, I'll bring all them down. I won't mind getting them all out and redoing them all again. I went up there and it was just boxes of dust. Oh. So bloody mites have got in there and killed them and ate everything, So, yeah, absolutely gutted.
Some of the old collections, though, the value is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, well, I used to have a lot of bird wings and stuff like that, and they're all mega bucks now. Mega bucks. I would still, I could very, very easily get back into it, but I've always wanted one of them proper entomological cases. And every time I went to Kempton, I come very, very close to investing in one, because there's a guy there that sells them, and he'll do them on terms for you as well, so you can there's no excuse really, but they are expensive. They are very expensive.
So I wouldn't mind some, but it's like I've got nowhere to put them, because anything outside of this room, as far as Leo the 3-year-old nightmare goes, is free game. Do you know what I mean? This is the only area where he's not allowed just to come running in and grabbing anything he wants. Maybe in years to come we will.
Yeah.
The 18th, if I remember. If anybody else has got questions for Dave, please drop them down into the comments, and I'll try and put them all to him. Got any interesting projects coming up apart from the leaf cutters?
Yeah, me Emperor Scorpions have molted out twice since I've got them. The youngest one, unfortunately, lost a claw in the first molt. So we're going to see how that develops, whether it eventually grows back. We'll see what happens with that. But the other two are putting on some nice size. We got, what else are we doing? We've got so much stuff. I've got I'm really starting to dig in with the Sturmies and the Blondies now. And I've got a few more Apophysis now that I'm growing on as well. So I've got a few adults of each of the Blondie and the Sturmy now, and some sub-adults and some large juvies. So yeah, there'll be another one. So they're all being paired up at the moment. I've got a female Sturmy that's waiting to drop, but she's holding on like hell. What else are we doing? I paired up my funnel web, so that's just a case of wait and see now. She's looking huge.
Just had a question about those from Forza Cat. Now you have a load of funnel webs. Will you risk leaving a male in with a female in the future to cohabit and hopefully mate if you're still having no luck with them?
Yes, I did this time round. I paired him in with her on 2 separate occasions, and they both seemed like good. And then he was starting to wane a little bit, so I thought, right, I'm going to put him back in, and I left him cohabiting with her, and he was in with her for about 3 weeks, and he actually died on the morning of the last show that I went to.
I think if you get slings of those, I think that they're going to fly out. They're absolutely going to fly out. Jamie Lee says, got into this hobby thanks to Dave's channel.
Cool. That's good stuff.
You can't get better compliments than ones like that, can you? Really?
No, that's lovely. That's really cool.
Chris says, can you come on more of the lives? Chris, I've been bugging Dave for months. Work's the main issue, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, I don't. It's literally time. I mean, you wouldn't believe the time scales that I have. It's I literally, when I finish work, I have so much to do because I've now got 2 rooms on the go as well, and it's busy. So I'm constantly trying to pair things up. I'm constantly trying to make videos. Then obviously you got to sort the videos out, and it is literally just time. So it's even like when I get a weekend off, it's not a weekend off. I'm up at the crack of dawn, and I don't go to bed till God knows when, and I am literally working constantly. So yeah, time is the issue. But then saying that, it's nice sometimes to just put life on hold for a little while, and come and sit and chill out with your mates, sort of thing. So it's it's a good thing every now and again, that's for sure.
Lewis come round last night at 10 o'clock, and we were going to do something, and then we changed our minds, and we did Thursday's video. I dropped him off. I think it was about 2:30 in the morning. It was like it's crazy. But Chris, don't worry. I'll carry on hammering Dave's inbox.
Plus the fact you get bored with me, there's loads of other people you want to speak to out there.
You don't realise how much love there is for you in this community, mate. You really don't. Forza Cat says, fingers crossed, Dave. Brandon asked if you can name one after him, which is his one of his son kids.
Yeah. I haven't named any of my spiders.
Got one of mine's called Gemma because she bought it, which is Gemma Bainbridge in the chat. And we've got the James communal, and I've got the Troy communal as well. So they're named because they've been given. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to do that. Leah says Dave is a cool guy. Oh, over on Usual Pets channel, if Steve raises the $1.5 grand for autism, and I'll be dyeing the hair blue, we're going to do it on Leah's channel. She's going to be dyeing it.
Cool.
Want to see that? Give her a subscription. And Chris just said he sent 4 more messages. Spider King, Dave, when you move, will we expect to see a bigger beastie room? And what's the plan for expanding the room?
I won't know that until I know where I'm going. But yeah, I think I'll probably I will probably do things a little bit differently. Although to be fair, it'll be very similar to how it is now because this is how I like to work. So I like, as you probably gathered when we do the walk around of the room, everything's very easy and open and accessible. I find it difficult. The shelf behind me, which is what way we're looking, this one here, yeah, with all the pots and bits and pieces, that's all slings and stuff on there, and I find that the worst lot out of the whole room because I can't deal with all different size boxes and bits and pieces. You know, I find it really hard to get my head around it. So I literally tend to keep all of that sort of stuff in the same size things. It sounds a bit strange, I know, but it's yeah, I'm a bit OCD like that.
Steve W, my word. Thought he was a friend. He says Dave should Scott dye his hair blue even if Steve doesn't reach the £1,500 for charity.
No. No.
It's not
No.
happening.
If you want to see it blue, put your hand in your pocket.
Yep.
That's the way.
It's for a bloody good cause, and there is more people affected by autism than what any of you have even got the faintest of ideas. More families are, and it's getting out there and it's pushing it out there. So yeah, and every building site I go on, every factory that I go in with work will be going, why the fuck have you got blue hair? And it's an excuse to go, well, it's for autism.
Yeah.
It says, Dave, is Camera Lady a fan of the spiders, or is she just amazingly supportive? That's a cracking question.
Yeah. He's
yes, we'll send it anyway.
She's what she likes. She likes to be able to come in and appreciate them, and just do bits and pieces as and when she feels like it, without having the responsibility of having to fully look after it all. And we've been together for 20 plus years. And in that time, she's been exposed to all sorts of different things. You know, you name it, we've pretty much had.
Dave. There's been dips. There's been.
Yeah. So yeah, she's She. I mean, we've kept so many different things, and I've always sort of done stuff, and. Yeah, so she likes it because it means that she gets to experience all the things without actually having to, you know, be fully versed herself to be able to actually do it.
Do you think she's similar to Tara in the sense that, like, Tara will walk in here and I'm doing stuff, and sometimes she just looks, smiles, turns around and toddles off because they know that we're content. Just like when they're doing something and we're leaving them alone. They're content. Now, Tara is a very strange lady. She's very happy that my hobby is in the home. Do you know what I mean? I think if I was a pub man, if I went down the pub every Friday and Saturday, I don't think we would have got together, let alone got married. Do you know what I mean? I think she likes the fact that I'm just here as opposed to out and about every day somewhere.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think the trick is you've got to be supportive of one another. So, you know, let's make no mistake about it. The Dave's Little Beasties YouTube channel wouldn't happen without her help. So, you know, it makes a world of difference, especially as I struggle to turn the computer on. So, you know, we would be in dire straits without her. So we sort of work quite well off of one another. You know, I know what I'm doing spider wise, and she knows how to do the rest of it. So you know, We do, but you have to support each other in whatever it is you're doing.
Night, Aaron.
Good night, Aaron.
Always.
You got to support each other, and I mean, she has her own sort of little hobbies and bits and pieces that she likes to do, and I support her by keeping out of the way, and we sort of like we work well together.
You're doing that stuff I don't like. Right, I'm just going in the beastie room for a bit.
Yeah. She actually sometimes she says to me, like, I'll eat my dinner and everything, and I'll be like, right, I better go and do it. And she'll be like, no, not this evening. You're not doing anything. And then so I go, all right, then, okay, I won't do that. I'll sit and watch a film or something. And I'll be like, I last 5 minutes, and I pick the computer up, and she's like, put the computer down. You need to leave it alone. and then the phone comes out, and she's like, what have I told you? Put it down.
She just leaves me to my phone now. But some of the films she puts on, she knows I'm just like, I'm there in person.
Yeah.
But that's it. Because I'm like, what the hell is this crap she's put on now?
I do find sometimes I do need that mental break every now and again. I know because it's like a 24-hour thing, really. I mean, my phone don't stop.
It is a 24-hour thing.
Yeah, I mean, I probably get on average, I may get anything from sort of like 70 to 100 questions a day on Messenger and stuff like that, and it's like constant. And then of course you got the comments on the YouTube as well, which I like to try and stay on top of as well. So it's it's a busy time.
Yeah, if you have a look down Dave's videos, they are very, very popular with comments. So how you keep up with all them, well, I don't know. Forza Cat says, I hope you tell your missus she's stunning just as much as you do the spiders.
Don't you worry about that. I take very good care of her. She's a very woman.
Mark the Spider Guy has a giveaway running at the moment. He's just put a very heartfelt message into the comments, which was he was going to go around Peter Webster's earlier to do the live before this one to do the winner's announcement, but Peter Webster isn't very well now. Those two are as thick as thieves. They're so close. So it's going to be postponed till Saturday, but I hope everybody appreciates the fact that Peter was a bit unwell and just bears with Mark until the weekend, which also, if you're not entered, gives you a little sneaky few extra days to make sure you do go and enter.
Yeah,
it's got some awesome stuff up for grabs. Right, so where are we? A8 Converter Man says Chris would say Chris is Zoo on wheels. So for those of you who don't know, Chris travels the whole of the Midlands, buying up all the Exo Terrors for as cheap as he possibly can. So do you have any spare ones that that you don't need? Says Mark.
I do actually. I have got a whole load of enclosures that need to go. Everything from glass ones to tarantula room ones, and everything in between.
And
I've got some big exos as well.
Vivian says, "Can we send you the end result of the finger video?" So we're literally there's in the chat. It's just one of those like, what should we do today? Fuck it. We'll just video ourselves randomly wherever we are going. When she puts that together, I'll pop it over to you as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Does Dave have any millipedes? And that is from Luke. I'm your father. So he says, do you have any millipedes?
No, I don't. No, not for many, many years.
Mm.
No, I have.
I thought you were going to say yes. If somebody said to me, does Dave keep millipedes, I would say yes, and I'll put a tenner on it.
You'd have lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you would let me down.
No, I think I'll be totally honest with you. My collection literally revolves around what space I can provide. So then, like the things that are like highest on my interest list, if you like, get priority. And then there's some things that I get just purely because maybe I've never had it before, and I just think, well, it just takes me eye. I'll give that a go for a little while and see how it goes. So, some things will never leave. Some things are just they're just too much interest to me, and then there's other things that will come and go depending on what I'm doing or what I'm up to. And obviously, sometimes if I've bred something a couple of times, then I'll perhaps move it on to make room for something that I haven't bred. And I sort of go along like that, really.
So, I mean, the millipedes I've got like literally those easy boxes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in a display tank, but they're in adequate environment for them. So they've got the leaf mulch and everything else in there. And then stag beetles. I've got the stag beetles off Bethany. I don't think I'd get any more because of the size container that you need for them. And once the male dies, you don't see the female because she's gone down to lay the eggs, and that's it then for God knows how many months. Luke, I am your father also says, what about Australian tarantulas in Dave's collection? They did export some to the USA over 10 years ago. Now Australia doesn't export inverts anymore. So they have become rare. You've got the whistling one from Australia. That's in the UK hobby at the moment.
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't got any Australian spiders now.
Seen a bit, Michael.
Yeah, it's one of them. Again, it's literally it's like finding. I think, and it's also it's that interest thing as well. So I tend to, if something really sparks my interest, then I tend to jump for it. But I've had them in the past, different ones, but I haven't got any at the moment. I would like to do the whistling ones actually. I think that'd be a nice one to breed.
It's a funny old world, isn't it, collecting tarantulas? Because you can kind of go from having none one day to having 10 within like literally an hour of thinking, oh, I want a spider.
Yeah.
And then when you've been doing it a little while and you've had a good sized collection for a little while, you kind of think, well, which ones do I actually want? Which ones do I want to get in the future as opposed of which ones am I getting because just to expand the collection? Do you know what I mean?
I think what happens is we all start out as collectors, and then we become keepers, and then from that we then become breeders, or our interests change direction. And yeah, you're right. I mean, that's one of the things with the shows, and because slings, on the whole, slings are relatively cheap. So you can go to a show with a small budget, but come out with a big bag. So it's there's that aspect as well. And I think as you, I've gone to shows before now and not bought anything at all. Because nothing's really, there's nothing's grabbed me or inspired me to want to do something. So it's, but then I've been doing it for 40 odd years. So, and you get someone, I get people every time I go to the show, people come up and they just want to show me what they've bought. They're like, look what I got, and they're pulling out all these little sling pots and there's all this sort of stuff coming out, and you can see the excitement is incredible.
That's the best bit of the shows, man.
Yeah.
Every single show that I go to, I always say, no more slings. I'm not buying another sling. And I always go, oh, but Creatures from the North with cracking mystery boxes. Oh, Spider got mystery boxes on. Or the Spider Shop. And you think, yeah, I've got 60 quid left. I'll go get a mystery box. And then you get home, it's like, oh, I've fucking done it again and I've got more slings.
I don't tend to buy slings unless it's a species that I can't get as, sub, or maybe they're too expensive to buy as subadults. So it's the cheaper option is to buy them at slings, because if it's something like that, then my whole intention will be to breed it. So that then says straight away that I need 6 or 8 individuals. So, even even at sort of like if you said £10 a sling, you know, that can be anywhere between £60 and £100 that I've just spent on one particular type of sling. So, you know, and then I've got to wait 2 years before it's anywhere near where I need to be. So it's I tend to stay away from slings if I can, but it's not always possible. The Vietnam Silvers I bought, they were slings. And I think, what was it? Well, the funnel webs were a good example. I bought all of them as slings, tiny slings, and then grew them on, which in something like that is a bit risky because the actual rearing of them can be problematic in places. So, but then, you know, the more you play and the more different species that you deal with, the more experience you gain, and all of these problems become smaller problems. You know, you can bounce off of other things that you've done, so you can you're learning all the time as you go. Every day I learn something new.
What were you going to say, Ellie? Sorry.
I said I didn't buy any slings.
None at all.
Any slings? I didn't buy any spiders.
No spiders at all. You're on the wrong show. What are you talking about? Go away.
I won't. Ever since I had to get rid of mine because of working and stuff, I've got 4 left. 2 are mature male. I couldn't get inbreeders, so I wouldn't get rid of them. And the other 2 are juvies, which I kept. And that's it. That's my limit because I don't want to give them up again.
Ah.
But that's sensible thinking. That is sensible thinking. Really is.
The good thing is, this is one of them hobbies that you can always come back to. So
it's hard to give them back.
Yeah.
And then still sit here with all your friends while they're nattering away about them.
Yeah.
So I haven't completely left. I still have 4. I don't mind having them as long as I don't have that permanent responsibility where if my life changed like it did last year, then I'd have to say, well, you know what, I can't look after you anymore because that's not fair on them.
To be honest, if Ellie wanted, to start expanding the collection again, we are very, very close. There's a few of us, so I would imagine she'd be inundated. She'd get free spiders pretty much overnight.
Try and come back. She's like, Ellie, do you want some back?
Yeah, exactly.
Most of my friends, so at least I can see them.
You see, going back to the slings at the shows, though, I mean, I don't know what the fuck it is, but as soon as somebody says mystery box, my eyes just go, ooh. And I'm there. Do you know what I mean? I am there. And I'm like, but as I'm buying it, I'm like, yeah, it's going to have slings in it, bastard. But
my long pube turned into a short pube.
It's been busy fiddling away down there.
Yeah, that's what I was making. I've been making bracelets, because when we went to the shows, like some of our bits are a little bit more expensive for the little kiddies, and they really wanted to get stuff. So we're trying to make little things that are targeted both for kids and adults, but that wouldn't cost a lot.
Good idea.
I've made a few different ones. So we got a little red one with like little sparkly things on them, and we have some blue ones and multicolored red and blue.
They all going on the stand at the show, Ellie?
Yeah, we're trying to make them available for all sizes. So little kids, adults. We're trying to do some that are sparkly, some like more blackish or plain colors because men don't really like sparkly things. I mean, some men do, but not all. So we're just trying to make something that can suit everybody, but has different size ratios, different styles. And
you need a broad range, don't you?
Yeah, we do something that's suitable for everyone. Lewis wants the black and green one. I'm waiting for more string to come. At the moment, I'm doing this one. It looks like this square.
Goddess, have you just joined the WhatsApp chat? I think so. Awesome. BH, what's your thoughts on Ornithoca tainine species silver?
Ornithoptera. Ornithologna species silver. Yeah, that's the Vietnam.
Expensive. Very expensive for me. I'll be waiting for Dave to do a few breedings to bring the prices down. And yeah, that's when I'll get one.
They were quite disappointing in a way because they literally, when they first came out there, they were like £170 each. And then in the space of, 6 weeks, they dropped down to £70 each.
Wow.
You know, and I think that's pretty rough on the people that actually went out and bought them.
Yes.
And now they're down to like £70 each. So you can, and this is one of the things actually it's worth mentioning. If you're out there and you're looking into, you want to breed some spiders, and you want to try and make some money out of breeding your spiders. So like for me, when I breed my spiders, that then the sales that I get from my slings pays for my next project. So my hobby sort of looks after itself, which is what I try and achieve. And in that way, it doesn't sort of like hit into my personal finances, if you like. So my hobby almost pays for itself. Now, if you're going to invest in an expensive sling, you need a few of them, so it's quite a big outlay. What you got to remember is it's going to take you probably 2 years before you're in a viable position to breed them yourself. By which time the prices have dropped off, and you're now at the bottom end of the market. Unless you're very, very lucky and you've got deep pockets and you can buy things at the very beginning. I know with the Vietnam silvers, when they first came on the scene, they were mega bucks. And if you wanted a piece of that action, it was going to cost you an awful lot of money. So then, of course, the people that did actually breed them, when they hit the market, they went out £170 each. So, you're always going to be playing catch up. If you're never going to get rich breeding spiders. A lot of people seem to think that you're going to make a mint, but it don't really work like that.
When it comes to buying spiders, and this isn't me licking your ass, Dave. This is me making observations. I've seen criticisms about every seller out there, and I've seen a lot of positive stuff about every seller as well. With you, I've only ever seen positive stuff. And again, with conversations that I've had with other people, pricing's good as well. Everybody's like, you want some Dave Balfours, you want to get to these off Dave, that off Dave, this off Dave. You hear it a lot, which is really cool. I think an absolute credit to what you're doing.
I think it's we've tried in the beginning. It's like like I was saying, my breeding successes pay for my next project. That's how I look at it. So as long as I can achieve that, I'm happy with what I'm doing. And in terms of selling stuff, it comes back a little bit like we were saying about the merch. If you can't do it, decently, then I don't see the point in sort of doing it. So I mean, I've had slings that I've had come through, and they're like, you get a bunch of slings that you breed, and some are larger than others, and you get some that are quite runty. They might be little tiny things. I don't bother sending them out. I'd rather hang on to them and grow them on as juvies or whatever, and then perhaps sell them on, or do something like that. There's no point in duping people. The only thing I get a little bit upset about is sometimes when you try and do a decent thing by different people or whatever, and it it's just not. I don't know what's the word. I don't know. Sometimes there's no sort of like appreciation for anything. So I think it's but I think that's just a general. That's the hobby, isn't it? I think some people are just bloody miserable.
Tarantula Rookie, again, he's not long started YouTube. A fantastic guy. Says for people making orders, just a little reminder: Royal Mail strikes on the 26th and the 31st of August, and the 8th and 9th of September. I didn't know about those, so thank you, man. Luke, I am your father, says, what tarantulas or spiders give you the most challenges to keep or breed?
Sorry, what was that?
What tarantulas or spiders give you the most challenges to keep or breed?
Oh,
For me, it's true spiders, because there's some of the true spiders that you can get hold of. You go doing some research and there's nothing out there, so then you have to go to the country of origin and find out temperatures and humidity that it is across the whole of that country, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think with regards to the true spiders, that one of the biggest problems is their lifespans are much shorter than tarantulas. And when you're buying true spiders, you're generally buying adults. Many of these adults that you're buying only last a season.
If that.
Yeah. So quite often or not, you can sit there and you can doubt your husbandry or what you're doing, and you basically bought something that was on death's door anyway. You know, so I find it a little bit. I don't know. It upsets me a little bit when we see all of these different true spiders coming through from a lot of the big sellers. You know, they're putting them out there knowing full well that they're not going to last 5 minutes.
No, that pisses me off. It's just all about this. It's all about money at that point.
Yeah, it is. It is purely about making money, and I think. I mean, we've seen it with so many of the true spiders. When you see oh crikey, there's been a lot of orbs come through this year. Lots of different small, tiny little orbs. These guys are seasonal spiders. You know, they're not gonna survive. So you know,
mine lasted. I think it was just over 4 weeks.
Yeah. So
it was an adult female, and they can't say how old it is because it's been pulled off a web in the wild.
Well, most of them as well have literally matured that year, and they finished that year. So you know, they literally breed the once and die. So you're buying heartache, if you like, because it isn't going to survive. And some of these spiders, because they're brightly coloured or whatever, you might be spending £20-30 a piece.
I think the thing that you can do with the true spiders and tarantulas, but if it passes away, is to try and fix it in a position, put it in the freezer, and pull it out and practice your photography with it. I've done that with a couple of the true spiders in the past.
Yeah.
Because you can get some cracking shots of them, and they're not disappearing. They're not flying around the enclosure. Our fishing spider, I open the enclosure and it's gone.
Yeah.
I never see it again. And to the point where I'm trying to work out if it's a mature male or not at the moment. It's definitely a male, but it won't let me look at its pedipalps for more than about half a second.
You check them out at night. They're normally pretty steady.
Done it. He knows when I'm coming because I'm heavy footed. I can't do ninja steps to save my life. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm sneaking in here, and the whole fucking place is shaking. And I normally walk into something and go, bastard! And they're talking, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. Spiders.
Hi, Andy.
Corrado Bowden. I had a camel spider and I got rid of it as I felt cruel keeping it. Gave it to a local pet shop who gave it everything it needs, and they won't sell it. The camel spiders, they say they're difficult to keep. From what I can gather with camel spiders is they need a drop in temperature at night time, and then they do better. They do a lot better. This is coming from Venomous Visions. Tony and the Haggis basically are saying as long as they can have that temperature drop at night time, like it is exactly in the wild, they do a lot better. Me personally, I won't, because I can't give them the temperature drop in here.
My house is too hot.
Yeah.
Camels are a funny one. I've kept it before, and I think the longest I've had one is probably about 2.5 years. But yeah, they're an awkward one. They're one that I'd like to work with more. I need. I mean, I have broached the subject with different sellers because I'd like to have like 20 or 30 of them, but
See,
I can't. Or it's not so much a car. It's just that I won't pay market price for 30 of them, and I don't care what any of them say. When they turn around and say there's only 10p markup on this, it's bullshit.
complete bullshit.
You know, they're buying them in at pennies. I don't believe any of this crap that you know they're coming out with. Oh, there's no markup in these. I have to sell so many of them. This, that, and the other. It's bullshit. It's just wrong.
That's one of the things why I like Clayton so much, which is bug night. If you see him at a show, his prices are cheap, and he'll say, "Yeah, but that because I've said to him, how come you're selling that so cheap, mate?" And he says, "Because they're not worth much at source."
Yeah,
I keep my mark down, my markup low.
well, if you look,
I always says, just quickly, Dave, before it disappears off my screen. Is there a website where Dave is selling spiders, or could we just message you directly?
Yeah, just message me directly on Facebook. That's the best way.
But yeah, just going back to that again then. Yeah, Clayton, his main thing isn't spiders, but he enjoys doing the spiders. So his markup's really, really low because he makes his money with other animals.
Oh, nice.
For a seller to turn around and say, well, yeah, this is wild caught, that's wild caught, and that is I'm selling them cheap because I get them cheap, instead of going, well, I'll just mark them up to what they normally are because then I can make more money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. Luke from Spa does it as well. He keeps his prices low. If he buys them in cheap, he then sells them cheap.
Yeah.
People will sell them for 30 quid on Monday, and then if they get them cheaper, they'll still sell them for 30 quid on Tuesday.
Yeah, I normally I try and keep things priced, a little bit cheaper than everywhere else.
Night, Steve. That again, that's what you hear with Dave's Little Beasties all across the internet. Is his prices are really, really good. So Lieber said, Dave, do you think T. Celedonia will come down again? They've seemed to go on up in price over the last 12 months again.
I haven't noticed, to be honest. There hasn't been many in the way of slings available this year, I don't suppose. But I think when I done mine, I think I sold mine at 60 quid each, whereas everyone else was selling them at 90.
That is cheap.
Yeah, I done mine at £60 each. I mean, I could have done the same as everyone else. I mean, the most of them they'll check up Spider Shop, see what they're selling it for, and then they go for that. I think Spider Shop were doing them at £89, and there was a few others that were around about the same sort of price. I'd already decided that I would sell mine at around about 60 quid before I'd even bred them.
Hadley was doing them for £90 when he did them, but that was £90 hand delivered.
Yeah.
So if so many people bought them in one part of the country, he would drive them all up and drop them all off in the same day.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So doing something like that, and then again you selling them at 60 quid. It's just like, what? Oh, Mark the Spider Guy's off to bed. Night, Mark.
Good night, Mark.
Mark the Spider Guy is doing a giveaway. He's going to do the live on Saturday with the results. So we've got a couple of extra days to go and enter. Go watch his video. You could pick up some very nice bits and bobs on that giveaway. Yeah, they're all bigging up Clayton in the chat. Yeah, so I mean, I've known Clayton now for probably almost 3 years, and he's always done decent sizes. And the prices have always been really, really cheap. If you want any frogs, specific dart frogs or anything like that, Clayton is normally the man to chat to as well, because he breeds a lot of dart frogs, and he can also get different reptiles and all the rest of it. So if you want anything other than inverts, give him a little message or chat to him.
Is he importing himself, or is he getting from an importer?
Yeah, he imports them himself. He's licensed up to the hilt. He was late to BTS because he got arrested in France. Because he was coming back with reptiles and other animals, and he got arrested while they checked everything out and checked his licensing out, and then released him. But it gave him something like a 4-hour delay.
Oh.
And then on his way to BTS, he also broke down in the hire van as well. So,
Yeah. I think it was the BTS. I bought my white leg off of him at the BTS.
he's a good contact to have, Dave. For anything, yeah. I'm getting some burrowing frogs off him. We've already got 3. I'm getting another 5.
Oh, blimey, yeah.
I've just got to work out how we're going to get him yet, and yeah.
I think I got my mossy frogs are doing well now, and my next bunch of tadpoles are getting huge. They're probably about 2 inches now. So
Let me know if you're selling any of those off, Dave.
They will be for sale. Yeah, I need I probably the bunch of tadpoles that I've got on the go now. Once they all climb out and they're little frogs, then they'll be up for sale. My original, I got 12 adults, and then I've got another 10 sub-adults, which are almost adult now. So they're the first lot that I reared. So I kept all of them because I need a couple of extra males. So I've hung on to all of them. So I should end up with a breeding colony of like 20 plus, and then they breed readily. I mean, yeah, the problem has been rearing the tadpoles. They've been the pain. I can get them up to. I've had them up to like an inch and then lost the whole lot. Oh. And talking like 50 tadpoles or so, and then but now I think I've sussed it now. I think I've worked out where I was going wrong, and yeah, and this last lot are doing really, really well.
Spirulina, have you tried them on that?
I haven't. No, I was giving them bloodworm and Daphnia and stuff like that. I think the water was the main problem. I kept one lot on RO water, and they done really, really well until they hit about an inch, and then they just died off. And then, and I think they weren't getting enough nutrients out of the water at all. It was just too much. I've tried them in standing water, but now what I've done now is I've gone over to more of they're in a plant-based water, and they seem to have flourished in that. So yeah, we'll see.
Lee Birch says, Dave, have you got any of the emerald cockroaches for sale?
Not at the moment. I'm just building my numbers up at the minute. You would have seen in the last video we done a big rehouse for them, and I put them in a much, much bigger enclosure. And I've had fresh males come off now. So all being well, they should start kicking off. There's loads of babies in there. But I want to get up to a really big number first.
That again was one of the problems when they first came here. You could buy like 5 for 35 quid, but they'd all be females. You wouldn't get one male.
No, there's still. I have people contact me for males because they can't find males anywhere. My group is actually throwing out quite a steady amount of males all the time, so I'm quite lucky like that. But the big thing with them has been the care. I found that everything on the internet was a total opposite to how I've kept mine, and mine are flourishing. So it's like I followed the internet and mine done nothing. They literally just stagnated. I lost a couple, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm sick of it. And this is how it goes. I just sit there and I'll go, do you know, I'm fed up with this bullshit. I need to just come away from everything that I thought I knew, and I just look at it and I have a think about it over a couple of days. And then I think, right, this is what I'm going to do. It's a do or die situation now because they're not doing anything anyway. So what have I got to lose?
Yep.
And I literally, I just change it all, and then it either works or it don't. The only thing I will say is if I put something out in a video, it's because it worked. I won't put it out there if it didn't work, because I think sometimes that's even awkward in itself, because sometimes people will listen to that and interpret it the wrong way, and then they'll go off and do it, and obviously it don't bleed and work. So it's yeah. I only try and share what has been successful, because there's no need for the rest of it really, unless it's a simple thing. You know, if it's like a common mistake, then it needs to be addressed.
Tarantula Rocky, my marginator beetles are doing my head in. I'm normally okay with patience, but these are testing my boundaries to cocoon and turn. Tarantula Rookie, Phil, is the man for them bad boys.
That's the pack noders, is he on about? Yeah.
Yeah, getting them from. I think he says getting them from cocoon and turning them from cocoon to beetle.
They are so simple to do. He literally, I found what they done best. They work best in like a really useful rub. Them boxes.
Yep.
Yeah. With hardly any ventilation, and then just literally fill it 3/4 full of mulch. Bit of rotting wood. You want white wood. You want proper rotting wood, and then just put that in there. A little bit of fruit every now and again, but very, very little. And then I literally just put them up on the top shelf where they're warm, and I forget all about them. And they will breed like merry hell. And then just leave your cocoons, everything, leave it all in the same box. Your beetles, just leave them all in there. Let them do their own thing, and they will just go.
Wolf Goddess, I'll be right back. Gonna make a cup of tea. Anybody want one? I'd love
one.
Make sure it's Yorkshire tea. Somebody did ask. I think it was Harry asked earlier on what you do for a living, Dave. If you wanna back that one off, or if you want to answer it, it's up to you.
No, I'm a lorry driver now, but most of my working career has been in the animal world. Yeah.
When did you start driving the lorries? Recently?
Probably about 8-9 years ago. Yeah, and that was purely because changing circumstances, we moved and what have you, and I just sort of sat there and I thought, do you know what? It's one of them jobs that as you get older, it will just go on forever. So I can always drive, touch wood, hopefully, So yeah, it was one of them, and also as well now within the animal world, it's not always the best paid stuff either. So if you've got other things you want to do as well, unfortunately, the animal world has always relied on people's passion to do what they're doing, rather than pay them a decent wage.
You see, Phil, he works in the zoo, lives at the zoo, yet his wage is appalling, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky. I worked for the Zoological Society of London, and I think they still are. It's probably around about the best paid institute really to be working for.
It's the knowledge the guys at the zoos have. It's got to be worth its weight in gold. I mean, where else are you going to find the knowledge that they've got and the experience? And if they're anything like Twycross Zoo, you pay a fortune to get in. Phil says Matt often pays better than zookeepers. Phil says McDonald's often pay better than what zoos do for their zookeepers. It's appalling, really, I think, because the amount zoos charge.
What you got to remember also as well is the overheads in a zoo are extortionate. They are really, really high, and there's no subsidies as such, so they are pretty much self-sustained, with what they do. And the general upkeep of many things is high. It's very, very high. And then of course you need a good staffing level as well. So although saying that, I've often found that some of the smaller zoos are often better because they run on a smaller group of people, so that they keep their overheads down. But then they're more realistic with what they do enclosure wise and things like that. When you get into your big things like ZSL and stuff, they put fortunes into building big houses, and it's not always totally necessary. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I went back to London Zoo last year. First time I've been there for many years, and I was absolutely heartbroken. My wife arranged the day for me for my birthday because she knew I wanted to go back because I haven't been in there for years and years, and I literally went there and it just destroyed me. London Zoo isn't a shadow of what it used to be. Nothing at all. There's so much of it is closed down, derelict. The actual animal collection itself is, I doubt it's even 10% of what it used to be when I was involved with it. It's a massive change.
Is that down to just the animals that you can and can't keep, or the zoo's animals that they can and can't keep, or do you think it's just London Zoo just hasn't got the money it once had?
Well, no, I think it's. Whipsnade is like the sister zoo to London, so they run separately financially, but they are joined as well. So London Zoo gets the shout on any of the new exciting stuff first, basically, because it's the national zoo. But I think what it is there's as we said earlier on, the upkeep and the overheads to a zoo are absolutely incredibly high, really high. And also as well, the heyday of the zoo, you went to the zoo because you've never seen these things before. Now all you got to do is flick your telly on and they're in your living room, so, and also I do feel that it's something that we said 20 odd years ago when it was all starting to kick off. Zoos stopped becoming zoos when they started employing PR teams. So what you ended up with a full-blown marketing team in a zoo. Then marketing people were sourced from other things. So you'd have had someone, for argument's sake, that marketed the F1 or the GP or something like that, and they had good returns. So you're like, right, we want that man or we want that woman to come and market our zoo. It's a completely different field, it's a different thing. And we had this 20 or 30 years ago. We were all saying, you're going in the wrong direction. You're losing the heart of what a zoo actually was. And I do believe that's caught up with it today. I think that the things that we were worried about all them years ago has actually come to fruition now. And zoos will never be the same again. They never will. And I think it's something that's been going on for a long time, because I can remember when I was a nipper speaking to the senior keepers, the people that I looked up to, and they used to tell me the stuff that they looked after that I could only ever dream about because they just weren't available anymore. You're talking back, I can remember as a kid going into London Zoo when they had a full building just full of free-flying hummingbirds. You're never going to get that. They had birds of paradise everywhere within that tropical hall. You'll never, ever see them again. Giant tortoises, we're never going to see them again. These were all things that my senior keepers, that was their bread and butter. The knowledge that they learned back in them days, I will never, ever get to experience. People look on me and think, oh, you're really experienced and you know a lot of things. I look at the people that I looked up to and the things that I'll never know what they know. Because the experience is never there for me to have again. It's never going to be there.
Chatting to Lizzie, which is Nana's got loads of bags of inverts and reptiles, and she was saying in the 60s she had a monkey.
Yeah. When I was a kid, when I was a tiny kid, I had a kinkajou.
I was just like, what? You got how? But she said, like, you know, back then there was millions of them. The wild was still the wild. There was a lot more of the wild out there, and all the rest of it. But could you imagine just like going home and there's your monkey?
I did. I literally did.
Did you?
When I was a kid, yeah. So you've got to remember when I was a youngster, probably up until I don't know when it was now, but I would have been maybe 10 or so, something like that. You could still buy Exchange and Mart and buy a lion cub.
Fuck.
Yeah. I think it was only something like the mid or late 60s, early 70s that the Dangerous Wild Animals license came into effect. So before that, you could buy anything you liked.
They used to sell Kyoto Mundas
Karate
Montgomery Ward's catalogue.
Karate Mondays, which are shortly, you just call them Karates, but they're like a long tail raccoon type thing. They're really, really cool. Actually, they're really nice.
I miss catalogues. I don't like online catalogues. We've got some catalogues at work because there's thousands of parts, and the best thing in the world is flicking through one.
Yeah.
Find the thing that you want or the part that you need.
Yeah.
It's better than go in for it to come up with a part that you've never even heard of, or you know.
Yeah.
I was shocked to find a ring-tailed lemur in a pet shop, says Gemma.
Yeah. You can still buy this stuff. It just means that you need to get your license now. Whereas back when I was a kid, there weren't the licenses weren't there. You didn't need one. But it's sort of a good and a bad thing. You know, it's been good that it's regulated now, but it's bad that it's regulated to the point that it is. So, and there's also as well there's the culture now that wants to see everything that they're not interested in banned, and you know, so you get the offset of that, and so legislation then gets introduced again for something else, and you know, it's a real bloody nightmare, to be fair.
My neighbour on that side, right, said, "Oh, you're right, Scott. How's it going?" I says, "Yeah, sound. How are you?" And he says, "Oh, good." People on this side don't understand, so they turned around to him and said, "Oh, we seen a giant spider walking up our road the other day. I think it come from next door. It was this big." And I went, "I haven't got anything this big in my house." I said, "Everything you know and seen cannot get out." And I went, "Tell them to stop shit spreading." I said, "And then where is it? Where's it gone? Because if it's this big and walking down the street, nobody owns it. Therefore, I want it." He was like. He says he's just full of shit. I was like, I know.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad. You know, there's always someone who wants to rain on your parade. So, you know, but you just need to learn to deal with them. You know, it's just one of them. I mean,
you get to a certain age, Dave, don't you, where you just go.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I try and be as polite as possible.
Try
to everybody, you know. There are certain buttons that can be pushed, and it don't always end well. But it's I've learned now that I either just ignore them or I just delete the message or whatever. You know, I mean, I just sort of think, do you know what? Sometimes I read messages and I think, are you really trying to wind me up, or you know?
I had a message on one of my videos about a T-shirt I was wearing.
Yeah,
and it was critical, and I was like, "It's just a fucking T-shirt." I was like, "Yeah, it's adult themed," and you said your videos are for children. Like, no, I said they're family friendly. Free lunchy fart. I think Arthur's jealous of it. I think I saw lion cubs for sale for £75 in the Exchange and Mart when I was a child. I asked my dad to get me one for Christmas. What a present that would have been. BH says Australian huntsman Scott is getting hotter. Jungle off. Hey guys, sorry for dropping in and out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Never apologise if you've got to leave, or if you just don't fancy watching one week, or if you want to just pop off. Never apologise. Don't have any questions. Just want to say, Dave, you are the man. You got me into spiders, and I've learned so much from your channel the last 2 years. It's crazy. So thank you. Which is OC Branchers, which is Osman.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
Osman's cool as fuck.
I think do you know what that makes me happier than anything? Is it, is hearing how people have sort of adopted some of the things that we do, and it's getting them to enjoy their hobby as much as I enjoy it. That's what it's all about.
People at work where they go, you keep spiders? What? 6 months later, they're like, do you know anywhere where I can get a scorpion from?
Yeah.
or do you know that curly hair you've got in that video? Where can I get one of them from? And you go in. 6 months ago, you were telling me how they were shit. You didn't like them and you hated them. You'd set them on fire, and then once they've been set on fire, you'd send them to Hal and then post them back to me and all this. Now you want one. Oh, yeah.
I normally get the. Have you got anything that's really deadly and dangerous? I'm like, why? I've got someone I want to send it to.
Well, yeah, because of the past that I've got, I get quite a lot. Well, not a lot. I just get the odd phone call, which is, Scott, what's the most poisonous spider in the world?
Yeah.
Well, none of them are poisonous, but I can tell you which is the most venomous. I said, but then it's not really the most venomous. It can just deliver more than the majority of the other spiders, which is the brown recluse. Have you got any? Can I have one? Because I want to send it to this. No and no. It's like, are you actually being serious? Yes, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Right. I think we need to be like, maybe unfriended, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I've seen this person on this channel. He got bit by this, and he was in hospital. Blah, blah. Have you got any of them? Have you got one of them?
Yeah.
No.
They get the wrong end, don't they? Get the wrong end.
For everybody that was on about closing the stream and all this that and t'other because the little one went to hospital, the missus has literally just messaged me to say that all the symptoms that they were worried about are just symptoms from his autism seizure, and she'll be home within an hour with him, and he's completely fine.
That's exactly what you said, wasn't it?
Yeah, this happens literally like once or twice a month.
That's why I didn't say anything as a mother myself.
Yeah. So yeah, Ellie didn't say nothing. Leah didn't say nothing because they both know.
See, this is a prime example as people shouldn't comment on things they don't actually understand, because you do it day in, day out. You know exactly what's going on, and yet you can guarantee there'll be someone out there that will watch this later, and it probably won't be in the chat because everyone knows everyone. But
you should have gone to the hospital.
Yeah, there'll be someone sitting there going, "Oh, there was this bloke on YouTube," And it's like it just, you often get it, don't you? It's just
if Leo, if he didn't have autism, right, and he didn't have his seizures, and that wasn't a normal thing, and she said the doctors have said he's got suspected this, that, and the other. Believe me, it would be like, right, see you later, gone. But because the walk-in centre says these things so many times, and then she goes up the hospital to get him checked. He gets checked. He goes on the heart monitors and all the rest of it, and they literally turn around and go, "Yeah, it's just all symptoms from his seizure. Don't worry too much." It happens every time. We've literally got a routine of like Tara just gets up and goes and then comes back with him.
It's actually lucky because there's two adults. One adult needs to look after the other kids while the other adult can take care of the sick kid. Me, I struggle because I'm one adult and there's multiple kids. So I have no choice but to drag them all out of bed or all together, and then you get more hassle because one kid's sick, the other kids are panicking, and then some of the kids are bored. So to be fair, I don't think they handled it wrongly because all the other kids are calm, all the other kids are safe. The other kids that need to be in bed are still in bed. Nobody's extra panicking, and it's getting sorted. If Tara needed extra help, she'd be on the phone straight away.
I'll tell you how it goes. Layla is in the other room with Noah. Noah is fast asleep. Noah is 2. Layla is 12, but when it comes to the kids, Layla is like an adult. She is amazing. But yeah, so I never panic when it's Leo. If it was one of the others, it'd be like, oh fuck. Do you know what I mean?
At the end of the day, you guys know best, don't you?
Believe me, if I got a message off the wife to say, shit's hit, I've got to the hospital, shit's hit the fan, it would be a case of, right, see you later. The stream would just end and I'd be gone.
Yeah,
but like, you know, it's just for us. It's just a normal routine thing. Anyway, let's get back to the good stuff. Michael Taylor, I have a question for Dave. What insect or invert creeps you out?
Oh, none really. Oh, blimey. Yeah.
Earwigs, mate. Oh.
No, I don't. No, I don't mind any. I really don't. Yeah. I've had a couple of ex-girlfriends that are a bit dodgy, but nah, inverts is good.
Jungle Loss said to read his comments a bit further up. Oh, about when people ask you questions. So Jungle Loft says, to be honest, when people at school ask about the animals, asking if I have anything poisonous, I just tell them about George and Mildred, the dart frogs, and forget to mention the lack of toxins in captivity.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, earwigs, mate. I can't because it's I'll blame Star Trek. I think it's the Wrath of Khan where they put the helmets on the two, and they're even slugs. They even like slug-like creatures go in their ears, don't they?
Oh, right, yeah.
For something, when I was a kid, I just associated them with earwigs, and I just can't deal with earwigs. I am literally got. I think what I should do is maybe look for sale for some of the bigger earwigs instead of the UK ones, and keep them, because I used to be petrified of centipedes, and that's what I did. I was like, right, I'm going to get one, and I shit myself buying it, shit myself bringing it home, and I shit myself rehousing it and feeding it. And then after a few months, I was like, yeah, this is absolutely stunning. I want another one. maybe that's what I should do with the earwigs next.
Yeah, definitely give it a go. Do you know, the only thing that I am cautious about is horses.
Yeah,
that's the only thing out of everything in the animal world. I couldn't give a damn about any of it. It don't bother me. I'm easy with all of it, but horses, I am a little bit cautious of.
That's nice. Chig says, just wanted to say thanks to Dave. I bought some spiders from him. His channel's actually got me into tarantulas. I think I actually missed him at the last show. Is he going to Bedford?
No, unfortunately, Brighton will be my next one. But I'm glad you're enjoying your spiders.
Laurie, I can't do house centipedes. I used to do 3-day eventing.
All right, yeah.
I think that's with the horses.
Yeah.
Lynn says earwigs are okay. I don't like them on me, but when I was little, my granddad had to shake them out of his flowers when I went to look. When I took them to Sal.
Yeah, you used to find them in the roses.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tarantula Rookie says, my missus has horses, just have to watch out near the rear end. That packs a punch. That's the thing, though. I mean, I've started weight training again, yeah? So I'm thinking my little muscles can lift decent weight, right? Muscles on a horse are like massive and absolutely solid. So the power they've got in them rear legs is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
I think
when you stand by them, if they want to move you, you're being moved. That is as simple as that.
I've been hit by one before. That weren't very pleasant.
Enzo says, yes, those fucking horses scare the life out of me. I just used to, and I bought some now, but I ain't getting one of those galloping fox.
I am with him there, I tell you. Yeah.
Aaron says, teeth with the horses. Mine used to be a fucker for biting, but not biting him on the sneak.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I say I got bitten once before, and it was not nice. Yeah.
Solitude says galloping fox. We're laughing out loud. Yeah, one of my friends have got I think they're 12-hand horses, so they're not the big horses, and the next one's down. And I've been up to the stables with them, and then where they're kept, mate, when you're cleaning them out and stuff, I am fucking shitting myself because I think if this horse wanted to kill me, it's only got to lead me up the wall, and I'm pretty much dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when they start turning, I'm running around with the fucking thing, stay by the side of it, so his bum don't face me. Because if his bum faces you, you're either going to get a face full of fart, or you're going to get its foot in your face. One of the two.
I don't know what it is about, but I mean, I can ride as well. I can ride, so it's like bloody. I just do not trust them. Do you know what? I'm sure it is actually. Thinking about it, I don't trust my own ability with them. Whereas everything else, I feel very comfortable.
We'll go back to that word ability again.
Yeah.
With.
But I lack a little bit of confidence when it comes to horses.
Enzo Performance, you've got the aged old question, I should say, which is, Dave, have you ever been bitten by a tarantula?
No, I haven't.
I got licked by a cow before, nearly ripped my skin off. Jamie Lee have got Shetlands, and they've pulled full-grown males on their arse, and they're only up to your knees.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just a solid mass of muscle.
Yeah.
Cindy, been bit but never by my own. Been stepped on, that sucked. Fell over a jump onto my head. My horse was amazing. I miss her and riding.
Yeah.
See, one of my friends from school come off a horse at show jumping, and yeah, she was never able to ride for about 20 years because she was in a wheelchair. She still is, but obviously with the new stuff that's come out, she can now get back on a horse.
That's good.
Yeah, the only animals I don't trust is people. My mate's horse is reversed into you so you can scratch his butt. Yeah. Unfortunately, with people, you've got no choice to trust sometimes. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Gemma. I do get what you're saying. Which goes back to many of the topics of conversations that we've had tonight.
Yeah.
Is trusting people.
Yeah.
I want a riding cow, says the Spider King.
We used to ride pigs.
He's probably rode through balls in his time, I would have thought, Jay. Aaron, mine too. I had 12 horses when I was little. Only one that was a shit was Spike the Shetland. He would bite me, says Unusual Pets. Michael says, I got rasped by my giant land snail once too. What the fuck is rasped? Animals are better than most people, but tarantula people seem amazing balls. Tarantula people, invert people are amazing because we're all fucking weirdos at the end of the day. And that weirdo side of us all, we click, don't we?
Yeah.
And thing is, we're used to putting up with other weirdos because other weirdos like tarantulas. So we're very forgiving of people. I think that's why we're all like, all cliques.
That is one nice thing, actually. When you go to the shows, it's just so many nice people. You don't see. It's very rare you ever see any sort of attitude or, people kicking off or whatever. It's just a really nice, friendly atmosphere to be in.
I think if somebody kicked off, it'd get stomped out in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think it would.
The shows and the generosity of people is just amazing, absolutely amazing. what was that other one? You need a relationship with a horse. Mine were all wonderful. Even rabid 7HH horse races. Once they trusted me, never got bitten, kicked or thrown. Like Dave's relationships with his spiders. I suppose that's Then that again comes down to ability, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's, you get used to different things, don't you? I think it's. I mean, crikey, back in the days when we was working with elephants, I was totally comfortable around them. But it's they push their time all the time, as do horses. Horses are forever testing you. So I think it's like most big things will test you.
Gemma, hide from most people. And get a little put out when people want to spend time with me. Leah says I need more friends. Yeah, Leah's over in Wales. But to be fair, Leah, you've got a lot of friends that love you to pieces. But yeah, the tarantula people are amazing. And shows, I think it's because like when you're out and about, not many other people kind of go, oh yeah, I like spiders. Everybody's like, oh yeah, I love my dog person, cat person.
Yeah.
So we're all like, oh, where's me spider people at? And then you go to an invert show and it's like, I've come home. Here we are.
I must admit, it's been for the since lockdown sort of came off. I think going to the shows now has been much more of a social event than it had been, prior to lockdown. I think it's so nice now meeting all the different people that you saw at the last shows. Just bumping into people and just chatting all sorts. It's really, really cool, and the amount of different people you meet. From the youngest kids to the oldest people.
From every background you can think of as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible. From every walk of life. I think it's just unreal, and that definitely makes it. And I think sometimes it's that's why you don't spend any money, because you just end up you're too busy just chatting and having a good time. And it's before you know it, you're like, damn, I haven't even spent any money yet.
I think the last show, we got there, and then it was like, oh, there's Dave, oh, there's Bethany. I think an hour and a half later, it was like, what? Where's 90 minutes gone?
Yeah.
And obviously, people coming over chatting, and of course, me and Dave's like, Beth, you need to get spiders again, and all the rest of it. It just goes. I mean, if you see Dave or Bethany at a show, just make a beeline. They're worth the weight in gold for time they spend with you. And the conversation is just fucking immense.
Well,
Dave brings his best mate. That it's just fucking hilarious.
Unfortunately, he was off on holiday on the last one. But I'm sure we'll be able to drag him out again.
Got a cracking guy.
Yeah, he's good lad.
I think now as well, COVID's kind of been just accepted as you're going to get it sooner or later. So who gives a shit?
Yeah.
No, I think that fear is gone now. So people are a bit more like, oh well, yeah, we'll have a little chat. I had a bit of a surprise tonight though, because where we parked the van, they've now put a gate on it with a key. So I went and picked that up, and I was chatting to the bloke. And he owns the units and stuff like that. He owns all sorts. And I said to him, I want to move into a 3-bedroom house. You got any of them? He says, oh, we might have one coming up in about 3 months' time. I said, oh, wicked. He says, that's a bit of a bonus. Drop me a message when it does. I said, the only thing is, I've got about 300 tarantulas. Is that a problem? He went, no.
Cool.
He says, you could put 600 in there if you want, as long as you pay the rent. I don't care.
I said, yeah, you're paying the rent.
I was like, thank you very much. You're not going anywhere yet. When are they moving out?
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You need to keep on him now.
Laurie says, oh my God, I'd be starstruck meeting Dave at a show. I can tell you from like first-hand experience, you won't be. It's literally like, oh, there's Dave, and then he starts talking, and then it's just like, oh, there's Dave, my mate. Literally within seconds. Within seconds.
I love everyone.
What is awesome is to watch some of the kids come up to Dave and start talking to him, and you think, wow, you've really done something special. Igniting love for spiders and giving animals so much respect with the children. It's unbelievable. That was very, very privileged. Remember that little Asian lad?
Yeah,
that was wonderful. That was awesome because he kind of come over like, right, Dave.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it just faded. All that bravado faded away, and it was just like,
yeah. He's only young, wasn't he?
Yeah, pretty awesome.
I think that's the. Do you know what? That's one of the really, really nice things. Is you can, you can just see all these different people, and you'd be amazed actually the amount of women that come up to me and they're like, "Will you just say hello to my husband because he won't come over and say hello?" And and there's this dirty, great hulking bloke standing there, and they send their wives to come over and like do the introduction.
I think, please forgive me if you're watching because I cannot for the life of me remember your name, but this lovely guy and his wife come and said hello to me at a show. To start with, it was like this fucking massive geezer with muscles everywhere. Looked at me, stared at me, and come walking across, and I was thinking, "Oh fuck, what have I said? What have I done? Who have I upset this time?" And they come right up. He says, "Oh, I just wanted to say I really like your channel." I was like, "Thank fuck for that." But it was like massive. We do get a lot of like people look and they go, "Oh yeah," because they don't want to talk. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, come and say no. Like Leah says, Laurie, it's Uncle Dave. It's just Uncle Dave, and it is. It really is. Dave is he's like the rest of them, to be honest. Everybody that goes to the show is just down to earth, genuine people.
Yeah, I think most people in the sort of the shows and that have got time for everyone. I think you should never be too shy to just go and say hello. It's what it's all about. You get it even with like a lot of the big stall holders and stuff. They're all more than willing to have a natter. It's not always about making money for them. Quite often, I know. To be fair, this is a strange one, but Rad at Creatures from the North, he's someone that he gets a rough time of it every now and again. But I tell you now, and I've got no ties to the guy whatsoever. No. But if you go to a show, he will more than happily sit and talk to you, and he'll spend time with you. And he's really upfront like that. And I think it's a shame that a lot of the people that sort of diss him on social media, they don't see that side to him on the shows because he is a very approachable and knowledgeable guy. He knows his stuff. And
things I'll say about Rad is when he first came over and started doing spiders in Poland, where he's from. If you sell something, you get it home and find it's broken, it's tough shit. If you go to the seller and say this is broken, I want my money back, they will turn around to you and say fuck off. That is the culture. That's what happens over in Poland. So when he came here, he thought it was the same way. Now, Tim Baxter spent a long time with him, just basically teaching him how English culture works, and it's completely different with him now. So if there's any issues, he'll sort him out. His packaging has gone through the roof. He has watched Andrew Smith since a very young child, and that's where a lot of his information's come from. But what a lot of people don't know is Rad is Andrew Smith's biggest financial supporter. A lot of Andrew Smith's work's done with the help of Rad, to the point where I think it was at Seas where he had the Barua peas, Baruna peas. No, not the Baruna peas. The blue one, Dave.
Byron.
Yeah. He had one of those, adult female, left. And he went up to Andrew and he said, "Have you got one of these in your collection?" Andrew says no, and he went, "Take it." If I see Rad, the first thing he says is, "Tasker, bastard." That's how he is when he gets close with you. if you want discount, spend money with the guy, and that's how you get a discount with Rad.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about Rad. The only negative thing is some of his individually priced spiders can be a bit close to the higher end of the price ranges. But again, talk to him at a show.
Yeah, he's always. To be fair, he's never been anything but nice to me. So yeah, I won't hear anything bad from him. I've had bits and pieces off him. He's had stuff off me, and I've never had any issues. So, you know, in terms of when I've bought stuff from there, it's always come through good. I've never had an issue with anything I've bought, and when he's bought stuff from me, he's always paid up front. So he's, you know, as far as I'm concerned, he's sound. He's he's really good, and I think it can be said for a lot of people within the hobby. You know, if you haven't had first-hand experience, don't have an opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I think if people went along with that kind of attitude, then there'd be a lot less bloody, you know, grief out there, and a lot less of this sort of. I mean, it's almost like bloody character assassination sometimes. You know, some of the things you read on different people, and it's
some of it's almost a sneaky way to be racist. I think sometimes some of the stuff I've read, and I think, what the fuck? You cannot put that on Facebook, and then suddenly they're on a ban. You know what I mean? You think. But Rad is one of those guys where you inbox him. It might take him a little while to get back to you. But if you're breeding spiders and you've watched all Dave's and you can't find any information, if you ask Rad, he will tell you what to do. He'll tell you all the little secrets and all the rest of it. And when you breed them, he'll also buy the slings. He will buy LPs. He will buy curly hairs, anything and everything. The man has, I think he said, 80,000 individual spiders at last count. And obviously he's had a lot of egg sacs and stuff like that since. And he's also building what could possibly be the world's largest spider breeding facility. I think there's the one Marie works at might be either a tad bigger or maybe the same size. I don't know. The Canada spiders.
The photos that he's put up on Facebook are impressive.
Amazing.
I think it's a credit to him that how far he's doing.
Laurie says bucket list has got to be go to the UK, see Scotland, Ireland, and then go down, go hunt Dave down. I'd literally talk his ears off. My boyfriend is so jealous of my obsession. There is a lot of female attention towards Dave, to be honest. There is. I think it must be that, like, you know, teacher student type thing going on, maybe. Yeah.
I'm honoured.
Yeah, the whole CFTM bunch, they're all really nice people.
Yeah.
Tim does a lot of the work for Rad now as well, like customer relations and stuff, because obviously Rad isn't fluent in English yet, so he can understand and speak it, but he doesn't get, like, do you know, our sarcasm, and when we twist words and stuff like that, and you know, different things can be deemed as different things around the country. Tim kind of understands that, so he's like, no, Rad, it's this or it's that. So, but I think he's amazing. I do.
They got a good team going there.
I went up to him at one show and I said, mate, I've got this Amanis, right? Mature male Amanis. I said, it's come in with a couple of other spiders that I bought. I went, but it's on its last legs. I went, it's up to you. And he went, oh, I'll take it. I'll have it. He said, it's on the last legs. He says, what do you want for it? I went, nothing. I said, you're lucky if it'll actually do anything. And he says, oh, no, I can work with it. And give me a £60 mystery box. And like I said to Dave, this spider was literally on its last legs. And I don't know what he did. He said he got it to pairs a couple of times. So,
yeah, fair play. I mean, he does a lot. He does do a lot.
He's an intelligent guy. Very intelligent.
I think he's getting. from what I see now, especially with the shows and stuff, he's coming around more now. I think people are starting to see a different thing, you know, and it's all starting to come good for him.
Enzo, I introduced Dave's channel to my mom. She loves it.
Well done.
It's the lady. Laurie, my female chromatids just molted and my male is ready. How long should I wait to try and pair them?
Ooh. I would normally, the way I've been doing mine of late, I would give her a good 8 weeks, and then try her. Yeah.
Thank you, Unusual Pets. If you haven't already, please like the stream. Helps out the channel. And it's free. And make sure you give Unusual Pets a subscription as well, because if Steve gets the money, then this mohawk will be going some colour of blue. I think a dream in this hobby would to go foraging with Dave, says Enzo. Could you imagine that, Enzo? If you got the chance, you'd be hated by most of England, like literally going, how come you got to go? None of us did. Lupang's just dropped Unusual Pets, his channel link into the comments. I would definitely like Unusual Pets. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it. Leah is a very close friend of mine, and she does not get the attention that she deserves at all. Her and Ellie are doing a lot of the shows, and they've got the stand there as well. So make sure you go check them out.
Definitely worth a look.
Yeah.
Yay. Scott didn't buy anything though. He didn't like our stuff.
I didn't really get much chance until the end, and then I was skint. And that second room was so hot.
That's why.
Hi, Richard.
Actually, I'm not saying anything, but I think Ellie's stand was the first one I went to.
Yeah, because Uncle Dave has priorities, Scott. See?
Yeah.
You got shown up by Uncle Dave now. Because you knew me longer and you keep saying, I'm so loyal to Ellie and Ellie's so loyal to me.
Hold on. 1 second, Ellie. There we go.
Nope, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I was muted. You should have done it already. Yeah. Tara showed me 2 books and she was like, which one do you want to put the wedding stuff in? And I was like, the one Ellie's made, obviously.
Hey. That's cool.
Though the other one didn't really help out with your diet, did it?
Yeah. Not one.
The photos that you put up on Facebook look really good. They were cool. It looked like a good day.
It was a cracking day.
I think Tara's stepdad, he looks a proper dude, he does.
Ken, he's got the strongest Scottish accent in the world, and I remember him being a bouncer at the metal club that I used to go to, and he used to literally, don't matter how big the guy was, if they were kicking off, he'd grab them and throw them out, and big guys, not a problem. And I had to go with him and say, Ken, do you know Tara? We've obviously been talking about stuff, and would you mind if would you let me just stand over here? And I said to him, I says, can I ask for a daughter's hand in marriage? And he went, good luck. Yeah.
Hey, he looked a proud man all dressed up in his kilt and that.
He's such a nice guy. He reads a lot of the Scottish poetry and stuff in a very strong Scottish accent, and it's when you got that Scottish accent behind it, suddenly words have a new impact. You know what I mean? They're a lot stronger. They've got more feeling to them.
Yeah.
But he is cool, man.
Yeah.
So nice to see Dave still going strong. past your bedtime, mate. He's an absolute legend.
It probably is. I hadn't even looked at the time.
Don't you worry about the time, Dave. Don't you worry.
Yeah, look at that. Some of us have work in the morning.
So have I. I'm off to fix a cement mixer.
Oh, are you?
Yep.
I've got a lot of running around tomorrow. I'm actually.
They had to dump the cement out the side door.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's stuck with all the metal bits all the way through it.
Yeah. That's not good. I got. Have you heard of the Dorset Steam Fair?
No. But
You've never heard of that?
You've got my attention.
That's probably the biggest steam fair in the country. It's huge, absolutely huge. I mean, actually, it's held over a whole farm. It's bloody massive. But that opens the day after tomorrow. No, yeah, day after tomorrow, Thursday it opens, and my work tomorrow is going to be going through there, so it's going to be a bloody pain in the arse.
Oh, I used to
like going to be as busy. They've been to give you an idea of how big it is. They've been setting it up for the past 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big fair.
Laurie, so your vapes don't bother the spiders? No, all the nicotine's absorbed into your body from a vape, so
yeah.
Just like you got bleach in your house, you've got air fresheners in your house, you've got all sorts, you've got washing up liquid, all sorts of stuff, and they're not bothered by them. So what makes you think they're going to be bothered by these? Smoking, maybe, but we don't. Well, obviously don't smoke in the house because we can vape.
Yeah, most of my driving is reasonably local.
What about the vape condition? Yeah, it's in all right condition considering it comes to working everywhere with me.
And you've had it since December.
Yeah, this one I've actually had since December, so this one's doing really well. Just try not to have anything airborne by them. Laurie, well, I keep all my spiders out of a matter of convenience. They're all in my kitchen, and they all seem to do completely fine. The condensation.
Science, right? So you see all these forests that burn down, and then there's a lot of deforestation. Have you noticed after that there's also mass production, both of plants and animals? Because the ground from where everything is burned down and all the smoke and all that drama is then became enriched with minerals, and that's why a lot of things bloom very well afterwards. So if it's not in like huge doses for a long period of time, it actually wouldn't harm them. Part of the natural cycle. And the way burning shit in my house, because I burn sage, I burn all different stuff in my house, and nothing has been affected.
No, we get it, Laurie. We know. Laurie just says I'm not. I hate that word. Ignorant. Just asking.
I know. Some
people about chemicals. I don't use them in the spider room, but then I have plenty of house spiders in the bathroom and kitchen where I use more chemicals. I think we spoke about this before, haven't we? Jimmy, this is the kitchen where I am because it's a decent sized room. Washing up goes on the other side of here. The washing machine, tumble dryer, everything. Bleach and God knows what else is kept underneath me. Kitchen sink. Do the false widows love it under there? Yes, they do.
So
I have to remove the egg sacs and then
I keep everything in the living room. Some of us don't have that option. If it comes down to that, it's either don't clean your house or don't have animals. So
yeah, I think it's like most things. If they're kept in direct contact with stuff, then it becomes an issue. But being in the same room is not gonna make up that much difference. I had the same thing actually when I done the video for doing my spider room. I hadn't long. I literally painted it, and I think within 24 hours I was moving spiders in, and people were all sort of like kicking off about fumes and bits and pieces. And it doesn't matter, even if you get that slight smell, the smell isn't necessarily fumes. So it's sort of, you know what I mean? It comes back to that, how you interpret what is around you.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's not
Aerosols, deodorants in the same room. I think aerosols are worse because they have other minute particles which can be quite damaging. But as far as like most of the stuff I use are naturals anyway, so I'll use like natural oils or natural incense like herbs and stuff. It's not too, it's nothing you wouldn't find out in the wild, which is what we use. I try to keep as much chemical stuff down. When I do use chemical stuff, I tend to use vegan stuff because it's not as potent, but can still be potent if in direct contact. But nothing gets in direct contact because I don't allow that.
The main thing I'm only ever really careful of is things like direct fly sprays and stuff like that. Anything like that I wouldn't use in my room. But as for anything else, you know, it's like, I think like someone was saying, you know, you go in your bathroom or your kitchen, there's spiders living in there all the time, you know, and they're doing perfectly fine. So there's no reason why a tarantula shouldn't do any different.
What about candles, Cindy says?
Yeah, no problem.
Tarantula rookie makes a good point, but people are always ready to blame unexplained deaths on someone using things like that. Easy to have closure, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's again though, it comes back down to a little bit of common sense. If you can find direct literature that links candles killing spiders, then yeah, don't use candles.
Even the spider repellent stuff in candles that they say don't work.
No,
I'm still so amazed how you guys over there have so much going on in your kitchens. I think we have separate rooms for a lot. Yeah, in the UK, a kitchen, we've normally got like sinks in there, the tumble dryer, the dishwasher, the washing machine. Some houses they've got utility rooms. A lot of the time, it's just out of convenience of where you can put things. Again, a lot of the 2-bedroom houses like we're in, you know, everything is in the kitchen. As far as spiders and animals, us British are off our tits really. Anywhere where there's room, that's where we're going to go with them.
I think also as well, if you look at a lot of, I know a lot of people I speak to in America and that, their houses are far bigger than ours.
Oh, massively so, yeah.
You know, even just down to individual room sizes are far bigger than ours. So, you know, we live in a much more contained environment, if you like, than many of the American houses. I mean, I've got a friend on Facebook, and she puts pictures up of showing the view outside her back door. You can't see nothing but fields and mountains. And I mean, it's just absolutely awesome. You know,
Spider Mum did a tour of her back garden. It's massive.
Yeah, it's just huge. You know, it's just a different world, really.
They've got like a shooting bay on their garden where they can just pop off their stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like, wow,
nice.
Yeah. Nice. Laurie, I live alone in a 2-bedroom, 900 square foot house plus a basement, and I don't have enough room. That is insane amount of room.
Yeah.
Cindy, I live in a small house for around here, and it's 1,480 square feet. Wow. So this is a 2-bedroomed house that we're in, right? And there's 5 of us, so we're looking at getting a 3-bed. We have a kitchen, a front room, which is tiny. When I say tiny, we can't have a 3-seater. We've got a 2-seater in there because there's no room for a 3-seater. Upstairs is 2 bedrooms, one of which is really small, and a small bathroom. That's it. The back garden, we're lucky to have a decent sized back garden. Actually, it's quite long, but it is skinny. But if you move from where we are in the city, if you went to the edge of the city, some of the houses, some of the rooms do get bigger, but everything goes up in cost and price so much. It's unreal. Really is very expensive. I love when D Proof goes on walkabout when at work. Yes. Candles in our living room hasn't affected any of the 9 tarantulas here. Deodorant and hairspray don't affect the 30 odd in the bedroom either. Laurie, I have 2 dogs, 3 cats, 3 guinea pigs, 52 tarantulas, 10 scorpions. Oh, and 4 fish tanks. If I had the room, there'd be fish here. Trust me. I've got a 6-foot fish tank. We need to move, and that thing is going to be epic. It's going to be absolutely epic.
Yeah.
Especially having gone round Shirley Aquatics the other week.
Yeah, that was something else, wasn't it?
I was just like, it just took me straight back to my fish keeping days. I mean, I filmed the arowanas and then I stopped filming. I was just like, you pair are just stunning.
Did you see the videos of my Asian arowana?
No, where are they?
I put them up on Facebook.
I didn't.
On my page. I'll have to. I'll dig some out. I'll put one up for you. You'll see them.
Phil, you just need to do what I do and just live in a zoo. You fucking right. Right. I was looking to maybe move all my spiders and reptiles to an insulated summer house after visiting so many legs. His insulated would give that away space. Oh, Laurie's got a boyfriend. It's got a 135-gallon tank. Something been. I mean, a lot. I watch on YouTube more fish content than what I do spider content. Especially predatory fins. When they get a fish delivery, I'm like, I've had that. I've had one of those. Oh, that's new. That is house. You know, Rodriguez over there, he's just phenomenal. Love that channel.
Have you been to Planet Arowana?
No.
I'll check that out.
No. It'd be. I have had a arowana.
They got a lot of very top end fish.
Scott just wants me to empty a room for him at mine. I do. Lewis has got a spare room. He's got his bedroom, he's got his spider room, and then he's got a spare room. And
nice.
If he emptied that, yeah, the stuff here that would go. The old wife wouldn't be very happy, but you know, needs must. Arowanas are crazy. The aquarium in Colombo looks amazing, largest in the world apparently. There's a channel called Coral 12G. He goes all over the world. He's been to Shirley Aquatics as well, checking out all the aquariums. Yeah, but is it Planet Sea Life in America's massive one? He's just done the one in Dubai as well. He's been to the Chinese fish markets. There, somewhere like because there's like thousands of fish and they're already in bags, and that's just the way they do things over there. They're not obviously in bags overnight. They're brought in and then bagged up and in the morning, and then brought to these markets. But it's just amazing to see. The aquarium.
Guys, anyway, it's getting a bit late, and I gotta go feed the cats and stuff.
Yeah,
gonna have to call it a night and all.
When you're coming on again, Dave?
I haven't left this one yet.
I know, but you know, I have to start early. Start testing you sooner rather than later.
No, we can do another one, I'm sure.
He needs a bit of recovery first. This is traumatic for him.
Yeah, this is a late night for me. It's going to take me a week to recover.
Tarantula Rookie says, "See you next Tuesday, then, Dave." No, like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, you know, when you work, putting out 2 videos, you've got family life on top of that, then you've got a ton of spiders to pair up, feed, and all the rest of it, like Dave had. Then on top of that, you know, the amount. If you go and watch one of Dave's videos, check the comment section. There's got to be about 3 hours work just there, just replying back, plus the messages he gets us anyway. So you know, time is precious. We really appreciate you coming on again, Dave.
I enjoy it every time. I really do. It's
Dave, before before Scott cuts the stream, can you just say with a proud voice, Scott's a wanker? It's got to be done. Everyone got to do it.
Well, that Scott's a wanker.
No.
Next time I see you, you'll have blue hair.
Oh, don't. Start the stream. You know, we sort of said thanks about you know what you've brought to the community and what you've brought to keeping spiders, not just in the UK but all over the world now. You know that we don't have to use so much substrate when we're looking at fossorials. Bringing moss in from the outside, we don't have to, you know, burn it with a blowtorch before putting it in our enclosures. We can just literally go lift nature and put it into our naturalistic setups. But thank you for all that, Dave. It's definitely changed my way of keeping. And I always say, you know, the reason I've got moss in my enclosures is down to Dave's little beasties. The reason I now use wood from out of the forest, don't even think twice about it, is down to you as well. The reason I see a lot more of my fossorials is down to you. Instead of putting them in so much substrate because they're not hiding from the sun like they are in the wild or anything like that. And it all makes sense. It does all make sense. But yeah, really appreciate it. But you changed my view and my keeping, like I said, probably about 2 years ago now. But yeah, otherwise I'd still be stuck.
No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That is the main thing. That's the key. You know, people just need to enjoy, and you know, there's always things we can do to make things better. So, like I said before, we're learning all the time. You know,
every day,
all the time.
Every day.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Learn a lot from the subscribers as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think we get lots of like comments and bits and pieces, you know. And there is stuff you never get to know everything. So, you know, I pick stuff off of people all the time.
Ellie says, "Stay calm, love your spider. P.S. Scott's a wanker." Laura Real was a 6-inch feather leg for my 30 ever and no issues because of Dave.
Hey, that's what we like to hear. That's good. That's good stuff.
But yeah, sorry, Dave. We're going to start another conversation. It's just going to be like, thank you so much, mate, for coming on again. Of course, you know you're welcome whichever Tuesday you want. But you know I'm going to be give it a couple of weeks. I'm going to start badgering you again. Tomorrow, people will start badgering me, asking me when you're coming on again next.
No, thank you for asking me. It's been a real pleasure as always. I really enjoy it.
Everybody, I'm going to do live every Tuesday, but when I put Dave's Beasties, that's it. Everybody goes mad. We had like 15 likes before it even started.
Oh bloody hell!
There's a lot of love for you.
Yeah, that's good.
I do have to leave now, though, so I will have to say toodles.
Yes, it's been lovely speaking to you again.
It's nice to see you again.
Enjoy it. Have you got early start in the morning?
No.
No.
Well, I'm normally up early anyway. This morning I was a bit lazy because I had a headache, so I managed to wake up at 9 o'clock. Well, I was awake before that, but I got my ass out of bed at 9 o'clock. But usually it's around 6, 7, just routine.
Yeah. It's going to be an early one tomorrow, that's for sure. Don't know. Right then. We'll see you all again very soon.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spiders.
P.S.
P.S.
Take care, guys.